Coming up on the next episode of the Celsius Pod.
Is it some kind of gorge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cuts to live action Obama.
How is this the best Pixar moment?
Because it was really funny. Look, this is me, and he
opens up like this little boy.
He opens up his heart. He's
like,
thinking about
Is that a metaphor?
and then she opens her hand, and she eats her little girl, and she throws up everywhere. And then they build a home together.
They're middle schoolers.
The little boy and the little girl build a heart home.
Wait, they're inside each other?
Yes. Guys, it's Mario Day.
Right in the
Guys, it's March 17th, and we all know what happens on March 17th.
So it's not
every
only
year.
not March 17th.
It's January 17th for 1/17.
I think it's January
No,
6th.
No.
This comes out on March 17th.
Okay, it comes out on the 17th, but today isn't the 17th. It's March 10th, which is Mario Day. Also, we're in person.
Beck,
Believe it or
you're
not.
not wearing green. It's not St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we just...
It's not even St. Patrick's Day when the episode comes out.
Yes, it is.
It is?
Next Monday is
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day.
That's why he's wearing the fucking green.
He planned
This guy.
My shirt.
This is green.
That's not green.
That's green.
Patreon, Aiden.
That's green.
Anyway, this is 1/17. Aiden, what's the weather?
I'm not wearing.
Google it, because I have my computer.
We're in person, and we all have the same weather this time.
Which is 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
So says me. So says Google.
Okay, so now that we're in person, we can talk about all the planning we're gonna do for this week.
And guess what, guys? We can put it on our Patreon that I made.
Yay, guys!
Yeah.
The Celsius Patreon.
For our planning that we have.
Follow us for the planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can
guys, you get bonus content.
bonus content.
We're gonna cut here while we talk about planning, and if you want to watch it exclusively on the Patreon, it's not that expensive. I don't know how much we're gonna make it.
nothing.
The first one is free. And then the next one is 1 cent, and then it's gonna go up progressively.
It doubles every player.
It doubles every time.
The only thing you get for each tier is actually just social status. So
But let's talk about what we've been watching.
Do we want to start with Mr. Milkchick and get it out of the way?
Mr. Milk.
Well, okay, so he's not even in this episode. It's the most boring Severance episode ever made. I'm gonna say
It
that
was the weakest stuff.
I would say it is the weakest episode of the show so far. But it's like one of those sort of things where it's like sort of the necessary for like whenever you have like a high action show, you always need those episodes of sort of respite and like sort of more like layer down sort of focus. Like just character episodes. I would say I think that's something more seen like a lot of animes, presumably like.
Why are you laughing?
Because bro has never watched an anime. Well, I know that there's a lot of sort of those types of episodes, right?
Do you like filler generally?
Yeah.
Sure.
And so you could say that, but it does provide because she wasn't in this season for like since episode 2 or 3.
Yeah, I left for 4.
And so this is an entirely episode focused on Harmony Cobell. And so it's actually, I would say, I think, obviously for the more layman sort of viewer.
This guy, he's taking his pretentious ass.
No. I would say it's kind of, I would say if you're not sort of like interested in these types of stories, I could see how someone wouldn't like it. But I thought it was pretty interesting because it gave us like at least one major reveal, which makes the whole type of the show.
That one reveal is the one part of the episode I liked.
Yeah.
I feel like, personally, you could have cut this down into a B plot of an episode.
And I would say that's a fair criticism, because, like, but I would say...
Also, this episode was only, like, 30 minutes, and they're normally 50, so it already felt like they were, like, we need another episode, let's turn...
Yeah, I would say that they did...
Episode.
I think they were trying to, like, I'm assuming they're going to have this thing with the last 2 episodes of the season that are going to be really big, and so they were trying to manage it, and, like, I think this episode just came out of sort of mismanaging the season economically. And so I would say, but it was kind of interesting because we got to see how like the Lumen sort of company, they've really indoctrinated and cultified this town.
This random coastal town.
And like everyone's part of this huge like sort of corporate sort of cult, and like you see how it's so indoctrinized all the people. And it's like it's pretty interesting for that at least level. And so it was like I think but it kind of felt like this episode was going to come since she was missing from like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So it felt like they needed an episode just on her though. So because it felt just balance wise, that makes the most sense. I could see how someone wouldn't like it, but
Yeah, okay, I want to explain to you. I was watching this episode, and randomly, I'm like, okay, all we've seen so far in the episode is her driving. She meets a guy at a bar, and they meet at a factory, and I checked. Yeah, we're 10 minutes. We're a third of the way through the episode, and all that's happened is she was driving.
You don't like driving back?
I don't like driving, okay?
And then
Sue me. I don't like watching other people drive for 10 minutes.
and then she goes to her aunt's house and she gets high
Of course, naturally.
Yeah.
When did you get high? I don't remember
with the
getting high.
ether.
I don't remember that part.
Well, she did because you're a dumbass.
Okay.
But she gets high because she's like, last time I did this was since I was like 8, and like she was like and so she worked with the guy. So presumably she was a child laborer for worker for Lumen, and so it makes a lot of sense when you read sort of the previous show because like she realizes that reintegration so easily, and like she knows all about how Severance works because she created the process. And I found that really interesting how.
Why she's so interested in reintegration.
And that she stole it.
But I think
Oh, no, that
whole thing.
that Lumen stole it from her.
Yeah, and that she was a child working with Lumen is kind of similar to what's her name? The other child working for Lumen right now,
Yeah.
the Mr. Milkshake,
Oh no, Miss Huang,
Miss Huang, exactly.
because they were both in the Wintertide Fellowships.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. But what I think the most important part of this episode was that while it was kind of like more of a boring, I don't want to say filler. I don't like when saying filler for shows like this. I would say there's a lot of types of filler, but for this,
I think it was a very bloated episode.
yeah, that's a better word. But I would say I think it's an arc of her, and I think she's going from like sort of the beginning of the season where she was like this sort of fallen corporate like worker for Lumen. I think she's taking an arc to become one of the heroes of the show.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. Because, like, we're seeing how her and Mr. Milkshake are going on unopposed ends. And, like, he's becoming more of a villain while she's becoming more of a hero.
I feel like Milkshake was always a villain, though. Like, he was always kind of set up. Like, he was the handler of them. He was...
I mean, he's just a nice guy.
But we get more of a humanization of Milkshake this season.
Yeah, but I don't see that making him more of a villain.
No, yeah. But I'd say he's gonna choose to be more of a villain.
Name one thing Mr. Milkshake has done.
Mr. Milkshake?
Be named Mr. Milkshake.
Why is his name Mr. Milkshake?
Probably because he drinks a lot of milkshake.
Personally, I would have renamed myself outside of Mr. Milkshake.
What would you name yourself if you were named Milkshake?
Maybe Milkcheck.
Because he makes those checks from milk.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the goat milking.
Yeah, right, because
Like in the episode.
all of Severance is just a goat farming simulator.
But it leaves off on a really
His middle
interesting-
name is Goat Milkshake.
It leaves on a really interesting last moment where like she's calling Devin and like so we're gonna see how she's gonna help Mark or not.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. But it was like an okay episode. I think definitely in the history of when we'll see Severance, it would be considered one of the lower episodes. Like this is Severance's Fly episode of Breaking Bad. Yeah.
That's interesting you said that, because the episode Fly was a what's it called? A bottle episode.
It was.
But this wasn't a bottle episode.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was.
and-
You could definitely call it a really big bottle.
I think
you
you
know?
could say like just in one sort of town, like the whole thing is like if she's in the house for a lot of it, I would say that's a very sort of bottle-ified sort of storytelling. Though we don't see a lot of bottle episodes in now modern television that much.
Yeah.
There is a television show I do want to talk about for a bit though. That is kind of the bottle show.
sure.
So there's this show it's kind of like
You might not have heard of it. It's called the White Lotus.
no, it's not the White Lotus.
It's called Full Metal Alchemist. It's called Steins Gate.
No,
And we watched Steins Gate.
No, so it feels like very classic sort of TV, where it's like TV, because like nowadays TV shows, like all the big ones are like sort of like just cinema and like sort of hour chunks.
Yeah.
And so like this is so it's coming on Max. It's sort of like it's called The Pit.
Oh, I've seen a little bit of it, but
Does it
I don't know.
star
I haven't
Brad
seen the show,
Pitt?
but
No, it's
Is it about some type of pit?
No, it's about like an ER hospital in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Like Pitt. Pitt.
Okay, but what if it was a real
He's
pit,
literally
but the
north.
pit was actually extended to be a very long, as if it was almost like some type of gorge?
A canyon?
No, guys. Okay. And so it's sort of the classic gimmick of 24, the show. It's like every episode's 1 hour. And the first season is one shift at the pit.
And there are like 8 episodes?
There's going to be 15, actually.
Oh, and it's all in one day?
Yeah, it's all one day. So it kind of goes to that. This is the only one of the only things where I think the 1 hour, like one day, like for a movie or a TV show makes sense because like there's like a lot of things that happen like in ER hospital. So it kind of allows that thing where I think most movies that take place over one day, they extend it so much. Like you can't imagine how much stuff.
Leo 5 to 7.
Like there's too much things. And sometimes I would say it borders on that or like thinking, guys, I think outside throughout, there's only like 12 episodes so far, but there's been like maybe 100 patients that have gone in and out or something.
That makes sense.
And like, but for an ER show where there's a lot of like, it's very intense sort of show, it makes sense. But it's like very classic TV. There's like nobody in the cast is like a named actor. Like you're all like no name actors, which is really cool. Like you never see this, but it's for more of a. It feels like sort of like a Grey's Anatomy type of show. Not that way, because like they don't have to rely on like romances. Because it's such an intense show, like sort of like The Bear. They can just focus on like the drama of like doing actual like medicine. That's more intense, but it's like sort of like the
Dr. House.
Yeah, but like less dramatized than Doctor House. Like Doctor House like has.
If you're saying it wasn't lupus.
No, and so because Doctor House is like a very dramatized show, this show is like very grounded, very sort of realism in that way. I find that really cool. But yeah, so it's sort of like we get to see sort of all of those different types of elements, and so it feels like sort of a doctor sort of medicine show for like the streaming age, which is kind of cool because it comes out in Max.
Yeah.
So it's a Max original sort of show. And so we see how they're presuming to do more seasons, like every season might take over one shift. And so the I guess the concept could get pretty tired after a few seasons. At least for this first season, it feels pretty fresh.
So the full season takes over like, one shift, and it's in like real time?
Yeah, it's like real time.
Okay.
It's like every episode is titled from like 7 a.m. to like 8 a.m.
Okay.
And then 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then we see how there's like different characters because it takes the ER hospital and like there's like the current staff and then there's like a new group of student doctors that are coming in for their first day there.
Oh, okay.
So we see how like tensions rise and like things that like a lot of patients are like, there's this guy who like one of his like main things is that he keeps having to change his scrubs because he gets pissed on, bled on, like, I don't know, like just shit vomited on. Like he keeps having to change his scrubs.
Damn.
Yeah, it gets pretty intense because it feels very much like The Bear in that aspect because they do a lot of like sort of these long sort of takes and like very sort of intense. Like if you can't do like intense action stuff, you wouldn't watch the show because it's like very like sort of very intense, like in the moment. Stressful, yeah.
Take a shot every time he says intense.
Yeah.
Intense. That's where I am when I'm camping.
Yeah. But that's just a kind of interesting show. It's like, if you want something in the background, it feels a very much TV type of show, like in the early 2000s.
Sure.
How intense was it?
It was very intense.
Seriously intense?
Very intense.
It was stressful and intense.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Was it gripping?
It was gripping.
Oh, I knew.
So grippy.
It was.
So,
Why does this guy keep stealing my pillow?
My pillow.
just get another.
There are so many pillows.
No, he's gonna steal the second pillow.
You're sitting on one.
This fucking guy.
So one in the pit was actually a real pit, but the pit was stretched out, so it's almost like a canyon. Or like
This guy really wants to talk about. This guy really wants to talk about the
Do
kid.
you want to talk
Do I
about
talk
Anya
about the Gorge?
Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller in The Gorge?
Do I talk about the gorge now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
is it some kind of gorge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Say that again.
He is in that movie. He is in the movie.
Does the woman say, like, guys, I hate being at this gorge, and he turns over and is like,
Say that.
say that again.
So basically, let me give a plot synopsis.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he
Yes.
he doesn't have.
I don't have Wikipedia.
He doesn't have Wikipedia.
No.
Also, it's a 2025 movie, so he has to explain it.
Yeah, and it has to be off of memory. So
Is that the
Do you
game we're
wanna-
playing off the off the
That's
dope
off
piece?
memory because
Off
I'm
the
playing
dome.
do you guys want to do like chronological or like in the order of the movie?
Order
Order of the movie.
Order of the movie. Okay. So the movie begins, and the opening scene.
The movie begins.
No way.
She died, and I never saw her again.
Oh no!
So basically, the movie begins with Anna Taylor-Joy in a little. He's handing out pillows. I don't want the pillow.
I'll take the pillow.
So it begins with Anya Taylor-Joy, a character.
Wow.
I cannot remember her name. She's from Latvia. It's some Latvian name. She's a sniper, so she's in a sniper nest, and then a plane lands, and she takes out the person leaving the plane, who's like some important government official.
Cool.
Then it goes to the other guy. What's his name?
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller.
Whiplash.
It goes to Whiplash Man. It goes to him, and it's him getting a task from a woman, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a retired Marine. I'm just like a contract sniper now." And she's like,
Like,
"Oh,
hi, Marine. Isn't he like 30?
yeah, but like he quit the Marines, and now he's just like a private contractor."
You
Okay.
can join the Marines when you're like 18, bro.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean, really? Do you know what the draft is?
You know what the military is?
No, guys.
Well, Nicola's joining the military in like 2 months.
Am I? What did I? That's the first I'm hearing of it.
We signed you.
Yeah. So,
I've already contacted the recruiters.
and the woman is like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you. It's a top secret mission. You're just gonna have to do it." Then we go back to Anya Taylor-Joy's character, and she's meeting with some guy, I think it's her dad. And the dad is like, "I think you should take this mission so that you can get paid a lot and take care of yourself, because I'm not going to be here forever." Because apparently he has some type of disease and he's going to kill himself.
He has death disease.
Yes, I don't remember.
He has incuritis.
I think he has cancer. It's like, it says on your dad.
incuritis.
And it's like, and he just decided he's going to kill himself. So it's just like,
I'm going to shoot myself if you don't take this job on you.
I don't remember. It's basically that. though.
Okay, good.
So then Miles Teller shows up to the gorge. He's helicopter.
Titular gore?
Like, no, like he's like, they sedated
Is
him.
it the same gorge?
I don't understand what you guys are saying. So they sedate him and they put him on a helicopter, and he wakes up and he's like, "Okay, where are we? We're not clear to tell you." Okay. Then they're just like, "Okay, you're gonna have to drop down. Don't open anything until you get there." Then it opens up. He parachutes down into the tundra. It's like all snowy, and he gets down and he gets rescued by not rescued, but like he lands, and the person that meets him is like apparently his old friend, somebody he used to serve with. It's named like J something.
JD Van?
No, I think it's like, I don't know. I just remember he just goes by his initials, JD. That's it. And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to run you the ropes and everything." So they walk over to the tower, because there's a big tower, and then there's a gorge, and then there's another tower on the other side.
Is it the same gorge?
It's, what? I don't, what's the same gorge?
Is it the,
Like from the beginning of the movie?
There's only one gorge.
is it the titular gorge?
What does that mean?
Bro doesn't know titular.
Is it from the title?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
it's named after. It's named after the gorge.
Thank you. That's the titular.
Okay, but is Anya Taylor-Joy at this gorge?
She's on the other side. She's on the eastern side. He's on the western side.
Oh.
So is it all quiet on the western front?
It kind of is. So basically, he's talking to him and he's like, "Okay, so everything is solar. So you got solar power, you got a backup generator, you got a garden out front. There's a bunch of animals if you need a hunt to get it. Your one mission is you just watch the wall. You watch the gorge, it makes nothing. It's been going on since the 1940s, where the eastern side of Europe and the western side of Europe have been working together to watch the gorge. It's so secret that not even that since the 1940s, and this takes place like in modern times, none of the presidents and none of the eastern leaders have known. So nobody knows about this. It's like a literally like need to know. And then
the president doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
He's not in a need to know
That's
basis.
right. And he's like, and those other one thing you have to know is there's this thing called a watchdog protocol. There's these air raid sirens on top of the stuff, and the only thing you need to know is that if you hear those, run like hell. So then they're sitting down, they're like discussing a little bit on the first day, and Miles Teller, so it's like, what are we actually doing here? And the guy's like, "You want to know?" So he pulls out a bomb, arms the bomb, and throws it into the gorge. And then all of a sudden, out of the gorge comes screams and
It's the Sarlacc pit.
No, yeah, basically, but like there's like screams down there. So so then Miles Teller is like, what the hell are those? He's like, "I don't know, but we call them the Hollow Men, the Hollow Men." Like, and it was like named after the poem by whatever, I forgot. It's a famous poem. It's like the I walked through the shadow of the valley or something. I can't remember.
I walked
No,
through the
it's
shadow of the valley.
No, that's not the. That's from the Bible.
I walked the boulevard.
No, it's the one that says, "This is not how the world ends. This is how the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper." It's that poem.
That's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was quoting that poem.
He was quoting
The poem is
Oppenheimer?
called the Hollow Man. It's called the Hollow Man. They call him the Hollow Man, and then Miles Teller asks the guy, he's like, how do you know all this? It's like the same way you did, the person before me did. He's like, okay. And then we see JD actual flight. It's like he hooks up to the helicopter so he can fly away. And then
Does he have like a giant lollipop in his hand? Does he like lick it?
No. But anyway, he gets pulled up into the helicopter. I might be completely wrong about his name though. I just remember seeing two initials, and I think it was JD.
If it's only JD Vance as a coordinate.
But JD, it does not matter because of this scene. He gets pulled up into the helicopter. Then right as he's getting help, he's like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you guys. I haven't seen anybody because like
My wife back home.
no, he's like, I haven't seen you in 1 year." And then they shoot him in the head and drop him off. And then they called the woman. They said, "Transition complete."
Okay.
So then it skips forward like a month or a couple months, and we now see Anya Taylor-Joy on her side, and she's singing herself happy birthday, giving herself a slice of cake.
Aww.
And she then sees the person on the other side, because they actually have telescopes to look at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks on the other side and she sees him, and then she pulls out a sign and writes on it, "What's your name?" and fires a gun in the air to get his attention. So he goes, looks over, and his reaction is he takes out a whiteboard and he says, "We're not allowed to communicate."
So why do they have whiteboards?
In case they need to communicate.
Foolproof.
Just to write a memo. Just to write memos, to themselves if they need.
A whiteboard?
Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that something that Miles Teller's character finds out is that behind a cupboard is every single person that's been stationed there since the 1940s has been writing like a quote on a wall.
Very extra.
So-
cupboard.
Yeah, no, he just like noticed behind a cupboard. So he calls it out and he noticed that like every single person has left a quote. And it's like really nice. And I was like, each quote has like some like meaning. And then,
the Gorge!
It's coming!
oh, I forgot to mention also that
Guys, I think we should call this the Gorge.
I'm gorging it!
Let's call this after the poem,
I
Hollow.
forgot to say, JD, one other thing he did say is, now I've completely forgotten what he said. He's like, God, what the fuck? I completely forgot.
He probably told him he's gorging.
No, what was it? It's actually important. No, I remember. So
Jerk off into the
what
Gorge.
happened is, the reason this thing has happened is because in the 1940s, after whatever happened to make the Gorge happen, they sent in 4 plus 2, like a 24,000 men on horseback in, and they went in and they disappeared. They never came back.
Horses?
And then Miles
Fucking
Teller,
suck.
and then Miles Teller tells them like, "What do you think it actually is?" And he's like, "My guess, it's the gates to hell."
Real?
Yeah,
Food
and that's
related.
it. Basic. I mean, if
Why didn't they gorge the way to hell?
I don't know. But then after that, after Anya Taylor-Joy sees Miles Teller say, "We're not allowed to communicate," she writes on the next piece of paper, "It's my birthday and I don't give a shit because nobody's gonna know."
Wow.
It's like, it's my birthday. I don't.
The Hollow Man.
I don't care what anybody cares. Funny you say that because they keep talking for a little bit about each other, and she was like, "Oh, do you have any special talents?" And they're like talking, and they're like, "That was good count."
I play drums.
No, he was like, "No, not really. I'm a really good shot, though." A really good shot, like the snipers. They're both snipers. So then he shoots like the champagne off her head or something like that because like there was like she was like, "Oh, really? Show me."
That's so romantic.
She died.
And then what? The guy, you know what?
But then you know what happens?
They played chess.
No, that's later on.
I do know the playing.
I do know they
later on. That is later on.
I also.
But
yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy is like, "Wait a second, look down." She looks down and we see something like moving in the shadows underneath the rock.
The Hollow Man.
It is the Hollow Men. The Hollow Men are
All of them?
Okay, but what if they're hollow women, guys?
No, I don't think there are any women in the 1940s. So basically, what happened was she's like, "Look down," and then she gets on her mounted turret because each tower is basically identical, but with one side has Russian equipment and one side has American equipment. So the American side has a big fence with a bunch of mines,
And the Gorge a metaphor for communism?
I don't know. It's like,
It's for Berlin.
there's a bunch of like mines that if you touch the mines, they explode, and there's like a laser tripwire that if anything crosses the laser tripwire, automated turrets will gun them down.
Like Lethal Company.
So why?
Because just in case they get past all that.
But I'm wondering. Wait, but like, how do they get more?
Huh?
Mines seem very limited.
Because they go down and fix it what they need to.
Oh, they get mines.
They drop.
Because they have like a stockpile to repair it if they need
Okay, what
to.
happens if they run out?
Then they will bring it in the next shipment.
Oh, a shipment. They have shipments.
Yeah, but they come. When you drop down, you're not dropped down with nothing.
Okay, but then they periodically drop stuff.
Hey, you're wondering about the mind
portion.
schedule.
It's gonna take forever if you stop me every time.
We can't stop the Hollow Men if we're starving, Nikola.
Well, the Hollow Men.
Plan this out.
Well, then the Hollow Men started packing, and like hordes of them start crawling up the walls.
Oh no!
And they're crawling up, and they're just fucked up human hybrids with plant stuff coming out of them, and like other
Is
stuff.
the CGI that good?
Mostly except for one scene that I will get to.
The chest just looks terrible.
No, most of the time the Hollow Men actually look pretty good, and most of the time. So they're crawling up. The first time when I watched this movie, I was not expecting it to have like all this supernatural science fiction stuff until all of a sudden he said, "Oh, there's Hollow Men," and then there's screams of terror coming out of the hole, and then we see the Hollow Men like 20 minutes later, and they're these fucked up humanoid creatures.
That's good.
So they're all crawling up, and then they just have to gun them down until the next morning, and the next morning they finally stop. So then Anya Taylor-Joy character takes on the sign and she says, "Best birthday ever." She actually does that at one point, I'm pretty sure. No. So she's like, "Best birthday ever," and then it skips forward a couple the next couple days where he's like, Miles Teller is repairing his cell. He's attaching new mines and stuff because they tripped the mines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then it skips forward a couple months, and that's when they start bonding. So like they're playing chess across the wall and stuff like.
Why do they have chess boards if they're
Play with themselves.
they play chess against
play
themselves?
Yes.
Why not give them like a deck of cards?
Well, one of them, like Miles Teller, he writes poems for himself.
You're right.
But like, why do they
Hollow
have
Men.
chess
All
boards?
of the
And
They
at one
play with the
point,
Hollow Men, guys.
something I forgot to say is that while he was repairing his side, some strange probe came out of the fog because the entire gorge is misted with fog.
Yeah.
And some strange probe came out of the fog and then flew away. He turned and he like went to Anya Taylor-Joy's character. He's like, "What the fuck was that?" And she was like, "I don't know." Then
Angstrom Levy.
yeah, and then they basically keep bonding and stuff. There's like a big montage of them bonding, until eventually it's the Valentine's Day, and she like has a picture of her dad, and she like kind of cries because she knows he's gonna kill himself on this day.
Oh,
Miles Teller is like, "You know what? I'm really tired of being by myself." So he's like, "You know what?
That's fun.
I'm gonna fashion a zip line and zip line across to the other side."
Bros, one horny motherfucker.
Basically, so he attaches a rope to an RPG, fires the RPG to the other side until the RPG gets hooked around the tree.
That just
No, because it was like a dead round. It was like
dead
like
on,
not a
Of
real
course, of course. Good thing he had that.
round. Good thing he had that.
Yeah.
Exactly. He fires that. He arrives around the tree and he zip lines across. Except he gets stuck halfway, so he has to drag himself across.
Oh, he almost fell in the gorge.
No, that's on the way back.
Oh,
Intense.
So he goes across, and then he goes to the other side. He crosses the gorge, guys. He gets to the other side.
that's good.
And the first thing Anya Taylor-Joy says to him is, "You stink." Because
It makes sense. They don't have
of course they
showers.
yeah. Yeah. So then they bond even more. They dance together. They talk. They sleep together.
No way.
Like in a sexy way, or like in a stinky sexy way?
Both? I don't know.
Is that when she goes?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
But
Aiden, go.
Don't lie.
Hurry, leave.
okay. But basically, they keep doing. They court. You know.
They
Until eventually, it was the day before the check-in, because I forgot to mention.
have a check.
Every 30 days, they have to check in with the bosses
Oh, of
on
course.
both sides, and they have to. It's like this wait thing where they have to call in and they have to put in the code.
Why would he go over before the check-in? That seems right.
Because they did like right after the check-in, like the day after the check-in, so
Oh.
they had a full month basically.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So he went over, and then while he was over, they courted, and then he was like, "You know what? I have to go back over before the check-in." So he goes back across, but unfortunately, Hollow Men start to climb up again,
Oh no.
and they trip the mines on the American side.
No.
So because the mines explode, it cuts off the side.
Yeah,
of
no,
his- So he falls into the gorge.
of course.
And
So Anya Taylor-Joy's like, "I can't just leave him," so she goes into the gorge after him.
no.
So she parachutes into the gorge after him. So now they're both in the gorge.
Why do they parachute?
Because they parachuted there to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, but she brings like the automated thing so that they can grapple back up if they need to.
Oh, yes.
Fortunately, while she was going down, it fell out of her pocket into the river
Of
because the gorge
course.
was like 30,000 feet deep. Or something.
How did she?
The river of the valley of the shadow of death.
Question:
I'm asking.
How did Miles Teller live?
He also
Fall?
had a parachute.
Oh, he had a parachute too.
well,
Of
Just in case
course.
you fall off, you know?
Of course.
Don't you love plot-saving parachutes?
If it's foggy, how did they know when to pull the parachute?
They didn't. It just did.
Oh, good.
Gotta think about it, man.
Okay, good.
But then they basically fall off when then all of a sudden, Miles Teller laying upside down in a tree gets attacked by this like massive centipede that has like a human face on it that
Oh,
tries to
man.
eat him, and he has to start shooting it. And
Oh, he has a gun with him too.
he has a gun with him.
Okay.
They're both Marine, but
But they all
guns
guns.
with them. So, I forgot to mention, Anya Taylor-Joy, before she jumps into the gorge, grabs as many weapons as she can from the armor
And she
jumps
drops
down.
all of them.
No, she just grabs all of them and drops down in them. The only thing she dropped was the device they needed to get back up.
Oh, the only thing she dropped was the thing they needed and not
Yeah.
all unnecessary stuff.
No, I mean, the stuff was kind of necessary to defend themselves.
It wouldn't have been necessary if she had
Well,
the
anyway.
grappling.
They find each other, and they're
Oh.
like, okay, we gotta find our way out of the gorge.
Okay, like,
And then
you're
they get-
stinky.
Yeah, but then they get attacked by a bunch of people on horses, but they're not people on horses. They're merged with like trees and insects and stuff. So they're like fucked up looking, and they're chasing after them.
Those
they're
are
like
the
trying to
people
kill
from the
them.
1940s.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
saying for the past.
And they're like, okay, we gotta figure out what's happening. So they finally find this abandoned research factory from the 1940s.
No.
And it turns out that the entire lore, why the gorge exists, is that in the 1940s, they were trying to make a bioweapon, but the bioweapon like messed up. And what happened is it made everything in the gorge merge together, like all the biomass merged together. So all the animals, all the plants, all the people, they all merged.
People lived in the gorge.
Yeah, because it was a research facility.
Wow.
All the researchers, and then all the 2,400 people, because there's like this, the bioweapon is still in the air. That's the whole thing. And they're like, it takes 5 days to take effect. What's your question?
Why weren't they changing into the guys? But you said it takes 5
Yeah, it
days.
takes 5. No, it says it takes 5 days. If they say if you limit your exposure to hours, you might be safe, but the longer you stay, the higher risk you have of.
So, like, do they all merge into, like, one thing, or do they just merge into things close
They
to
just
them?
merge into the things close to them.
Okay.
Like if they held hands, would they die
Yeah.
as like friends?
Like Pompeii.
They're more than friends now.
But basically, they while
They're
this research,
sneaky lovers.
they accidentally find out that it turns out they're not contracted by the military. They're actually contracted by evil corporation.
Evil corporation.
I forgot the name of the corporation.
Corporation TM
But
the
it's just
gorge.
some evil corporation.
No.
And also that that watchdog or whatever. What was it? What was it?
Watchdog Protocol.
No, it's Sly Dog or something like that. It's called like whatever, Watchdog Protocol.
Yeah.
It's a nuke. So
No.
if they activate it, it's basically what I forgot to mention is that the gorge is cloaked.
It's cloaked.
What do you
Cloaked.
mean?
I don't know what that means. It's just cloaked. It's not visible by satellite or something.
Oh.
It's cloaked. They have these weird they have these weird like radar dishes that are just cloaked.
Awesome.
They're cloaked. Okay, they're fucking hollow, man. I think
those are real.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Hollow Man in real life?
And they're cloaks, and if the cloaks disappear, then the Sly Dog protocol goes off. The Watchdog protocol goes off.
Makes sense.
So it's like the destroy the gorge. So they're like, okay,
Restore the gorge.
okay, we gotta do that. So we gotta destroy the gorge. We gotta isolate for 5 days to make sure we're not infected, and then we'll meet up again in France.
Okay.
So that's the plan. But first we have to get out. So what they do is they find a winch. As in a winch, they find a World War II Jeep.
Okay.
And those Jeeps have very strong winches, so you can use them like an ascender.
Oh.
So while they're driving away to get it, they get attacked by Hollow Man, but they get attacked by Groot. So
Like the actual
turned
guy?
out the very
Vin Diesel?
the very first. 'Cause remember the wall of quotes?
Yeah.
The very first person was the name of the person that turned into the Groot person.
No.
Who's just a tree man. He's basically just Groot. He's just a tree. And it's like they are not. Oh, I forgot to mention, while they were inside the research area, that was the area where there was the worst CGI, because there was a bunch of like head crabs, basically.
Oh.
It was like heads with like arms out of them that was like chasing after them, and those just did not look that good.
No.
So they're going. Anya Taylor-Joy gets kidnapped by the tree man and gets taken down into a missile silo.
Some kind of silo?
Yeah, some type of silo. Well, they're down in the missile silo, and she has to fight off the thing, and then they work together to
That's how
fight
you know
off, and they're getting
you
attacked
know
by
it.
stuff, and they get back up into the sky, and then they get back up onto the surface, and they get on the Jeep. They make it to the eastern wall, or to the western wall, actually, where the thing is, and they go back up, and they ascend, and they have to fight off the Hollow Men while they're ascending up. And it was like a cool action scene.
Wow.
They finally get up, and they're like, okay, now we have to check in and not tell them that anything's wrong. and do it. And then he checks in with the woman, and he was like, hey, so you're not actually the military, are you? And she's like, no, we're just we're a corporation. But I mean, it's the 21st century. All of the military is being outsourced to corporations nowadays. It's for the betterment of America.
Of course.
Because it turns out the drone is what's happening is that the corporation has not destroyed the place because they've been extracting samples to hopefully make super soldiers, like the way originally they were trying to do.
Like Winter Soldier?
Sure. Alan. And what they were doing. And that's part of why they need to destroy it so that the Hollow Men don't escape for good. And he was like, no, everything's good here. I haven't done anything. And she was like, well, we got a notification that the sensors were activated down in the lab. So if you didn't do it, it must have been the Eastern person, which means you have to kill them now. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. And then he hangs up the call and he doesn't do it.
No way.
And the woman is like, you know what? I don't trust this guy. So I'm going to go in with a bunch of soldiers and make sure that it's done properly. So she goes in with helicopter with a bunch of soldiers and goes in. And she sees that Miles Teller was lying. And then the soldier was like, you know, if he was lying about this, he was probably also lying about killing the girl. And they're like, oh shit. And then you know what happens? They are both with snipers far away and they're shooting at the sensor array to make them stop. So all this stuff goes up and then the nuke goes up and then the sirens start playing. Because remember the sirens. But before that, she turns the board and she finds all the quotes. And Miles Teller left one quote and he left a quote by Buddha and it says, nothing stays hidden for long.
Like the Gorge.
I forgot exactly the quote, but it's like nothing, like you can, like three things can never remain hidden. The truth, something, I don't remember.
And the Gorge.
And the Gorge.
But like, I don't remember. It was not that. It was like, I mean, it was a good quote. And like, he reveals it, then the stuff goes on and he's like, how long do we have? Only minutes. And so then they're like, okay, everybody get into the helicopter. We're getting out of here. So they all get in the helicopter and they're trying to get away as fast as possible. And they're like, don't worry about vertical speed. Just do horizontal distance. Because I forgot to mention, when they were looking at the protocol for the Watchdog protocol, it also said that like the minimum safe distance is like 5 kilometers. It's just a pillow behind it. It's literally it's 5 kilometers. So they're like, okay, we need to get 5 kilometers away. So they're like, forget vertical distance, just go. They do not make it in time. The blast wave hits them. They crash into the wall of the gorge and they explode.
Okay.
They die?
Anya Taylor-Joy runs away and she makes it away. Miles Teller was injured from fighting the Hollow Men, so he was limping away, and we don't know if he made it out. What we do know is that the plan was for 5 days, for 5 days quarantine and then meet up in Paris. So Anya Taylor-Joy character then goes to the place they were supposed to meet in Paris. And you know who was in Paris? Not Miles Teller.
No.
It was a letter and it says,
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like a Hollow Man.
no, it was like, it was a letter that said, in case I don't make it. And she opens the letter, and I forgot to mention this, but during the time they were recording, Miles Teller tells her, oh, you know, I do like making poems, and I am writing one for you, but it's not finished yet.
And then it's finished.
And inside this stuff is the finished poem.
I love you. You're like a Hollow Man. I love you.
I remember what it was called. And then it was like kind of sad. And then the next scene, she's like opening a coffee shop, but then Miles Teller's character shows up.
Wow.
And then, so he did make it. He just couldn't make it to Paris on time. And then they kiss, and that's the end of the movie.
And then they morph together.
But we would say you like this movie.
I think it's an above average action movie.
Yeah.
That's good.
It has a
it's
pretty
pretty good.
interesting premise.
I said 3. I gave it 3.5 stars because I think it's above average. I enjoyed watching it. I think it was a good movie. I would recommend you guys watching it. I would actually like to watch it all together because I think it would be a really funny movie.
Celsius 4 movies.
I think it would be like The Lighthouse, a really funny movie to watch together.
We'll do scheduling. We'll schedule Celsius 4 movies for this week.
Just because it's not a really good movie, but it's like above average and it's kind of funny. Like a lot of the stuff is really funny.
Okay, good. Great.
So that's the Gorge.
Wow.
That is the Gorge.
That's the Gorge.
It's gorging time.
That's Gorge sometime.
So
my question is, why did Mr. Fantastic cheat on Sue with magic?
That's a great question.
I want to quickly talk about something.
You have your own 2024 movie, right?
Yeah, but I want to talk about something else.
Oh, okay, sure.
Just quickly, because it's an interesting point. So you know how I love my murder documentaries, right? guys?
Yeah.
Are you writing one?
No.
Is it the Manson one?
The live acting one?
Yeah.
No. So I think at least some of us might be familiar with a few years ago.
Are you familiar with the?
There was a case of Gabby Petito and Ryan Laundrie. It was like a pretty famous.
Wait, but have you heard of the Bay Harbor Butcher case?
No, not Dexter. Anyway, it was this case where it's like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And it became a national type of.
They were like at a gorge together.
No, Beck, you're making fun of murder.
They were.
Right?
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
What?
But anyway, guys. And so it was a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and like presumably there was this thing where it's like she went missing, and like but then the boyfriend just went back to his parents' house, and it was a big thing where the parents were like trying to get the word out to find the girlfriend. And it became a very national sort of story. A bunch of stations picks it up. But then later, they find the girlfriend, like, dead in, like, a river or something.
Yeah.
And then the boyfriend killed himself in, like, the woods. And so it was a pretty sad thing. And then, like, it's a good documentary. But the one thing I want to bring up,
The funny, Uri.
I was going to bring up the point.
Bring up the point, bro.
Okay, is it funny?
No.
It's a point.
Make a joke quickly. Let's like lighten the mood.
Okay, so guys, there's...
That was good. That was good. No, that's the joke. We said the joke. It was
Okay, what's the
Let's keep
point?
going. Yeah, what's your point?
Anyway, it's a pretty good documentary because, like, we see, like, sort of the family side of the things. What was really crazy is, like, because, like, the parents, like, they were not, of the boyfriend, they were not, like, helping the girlfriend's parents at all. They were, like, they were, like, not letting anyone talk to the son or anything because he was just hiding at their house.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, and they said about the documentary, they only show one side. Like, they need to see the boyfriend side. But anyway, the point is, because this is something that's been happening a lot recently in sort of documentaries, is that they use an AI version of the girlfriend, like, to read, like, some letters.
No.
They use, like, with the families, they had the family's permission to use, like, an AI of the girl who died.
Yeah.
But she's like, it kind of takes you out of the documentary when you just
get like another teenage girl to voice it. Like we don't know what she sounds like.
Well, we know what she sounds like. She was a vlogger.
Okay.
But they.
How do you think they made the AI voice?
Just other videos. I don't know.
Guys,
Yeah,
I want you to know that someone could very easily make an AI voice out of every single one of us.
I have made an AI voice out of Are you forgetting
Okay.
the
But that was 4 years ago.
That was
okay.
there is like almost 200 hours of us talking on the internet.
Yeah.
We're so fucked if someone decides.
Yeah, but who?
Like, are we this important?
Fahrenheit production.
Are we this important to make like AI? We're not Obama here.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna make one about Uri saying slurs, and then I'm gonna post that.
And then he's gonna call me. He's like, "Hey, how'd you get this recording?"
Yeah.
This was in my home.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so you're watching the documentary. It kind of just takes you out of it for when you're just hearing like sort of like because like. It's like, it sounds like her, but you're missing like the emotion of a human talking.
Yeah, that feels like a really needed, like that feels like something that needs an emotion.
Yeah, like,
Cause like,
I know for like all of our AIs, they have no emotion in them, and it's so cringe.
She's like, you're hearing her like read one of her letters and stuff, and like, you just hear like her saying like, it's like sounds like Gabby, but it's not really like Gabby. So it feels like sort of a weird mishmash to just kind of put in. Yeah. And something that's also interesting, like there's so a lot of documentaries have been doing this. Obviously, movies have been doing this now. Like I think there was like a murder documentary where they made like an AI photo, like what Jennifer did, like when she was like young or something. It's like becoming a very disturbing trend of using, especially in documentaries. It seems like the most weird to do it in because like especially a murder documentary, because like
those are the ones that are supposed to be accurately reflecting real life, and using something that's completely just
not
generated out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just feels really off. Because otherwise, it's a really good documentary about the story. Because like what I like about what I think a good sort of documentary, at least for these types of subjects, is that you have to respect the subject of the person who died. Like show like the good side, not like don't define a person just to how they were murdered, and you see the more of their life. But she was like a very aspiring YouTuber. She was doing a vlog with her boyfriend, but he like did not really like it, and so that's like we see the issues of that relationship sort of come on. There's like a very famous video of like sort of body cam footage of them going up to like a stop. It was like very clear that she was being abused by him. And so it's like a very important in a documentary to see the whole life. But then it's just like this weird insert of AI voice feels very.
You know, I
awkward.
feel like in 20 years they'll be using these podcast episodes for the documentary where Uri just goes and kills someone.
I hope so.
Anyway, talking about documentaries.
What did you watch?
I watched a documentary.
My friend sent me a documentary called The Death of Tito. It's about the fall of Yugoslavia.
Bro.
I'm just gonna talk about two.
Beck doesn't like talking about anything that is not actually blah blah blah.
I think I'm just gonna talk about one
Hey,
thing from the
you
movie.
can't. We're the Serbians.
Yeah, about
group.
fun,
You can't make
documentary.
fun of us for Yugoslavian
okay.
stuff.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think you
gonna talk
read it
about.
on Letterboxd.
It's not making fun of you, Beck.
I couldn't find it on Letterboxd at least. Well, I'm gonna talk about one scene. It's from the ending of the movie. From the
Oh,
ending
wait,
of the
you told me
documentary.
about this, didn't you?
Yeah, and
But it's really funny.
so basically,
When you went after
So you know about
we had
how-
that funny goes
So-
got into the
yeah,
press.
but you know about the Yugoslavian civil war, about how like Serbia was ethnically cleansing the Bosnians. And that's not the
That's
joke.
not funny.
That's just not the joke. Well, at the end of the documentary, it shows like the people on like the anniversary of the day it happened. And it shows the Bosnian side, and it's the anniversary like in the modern day, or I guess like it was like in the early 2000s because that's when the documentary was made. And it's the Bosnian people, and they're like remembering the people they lost, and they're crying and stuff. Then it goes to the Serbian side, and it's a group of Serbians holding hands together and dancing in a circle to music. And I kid you not, it's the happiest I have seen Serbian people ever.
Wow.
It is the happiest group of Serbs I've ever seen.
Incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the documentary I watched.
I mean, I also watched a documentary kind of about that, but it was like a small section of it. I watched Camera Person, or I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I think I've heard about it.
Yeah, so it's basically like this documentary filmmaker just took a bunch of films he had made over the course of 25 years and just put a bunch of individual clips together and made that into like a whole like memoir.
Yeah, you kind of tell more about her than when
Yeah.
you tell how she just
And then
died.
she like spoke to our class about it, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool because like more it tells about her because
Yeah.
you're seeing through her sort of like how she filmed and like kind of tells her style.
I mean, this is probably my bad, but there was a lot of like context I needed about like a lot of the events because I'm not very clear on world history. So they were mentioning like,
You're not very well.
yeah, this happened. I'm like, okay, can I get like the context of how it happened?
what is when you say this happened? What was
Yeah.
this?
World War II.
Oh, okay, I see.
He's like 9/11.
He was like, wait.
what?
There was a 9/11 scene.
Wait, Germany?
It was called Fahrenheit 9/11 in
Wait,
the film.
Germany?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, why did Japan attack China? Are they stupid? Wait, why did Japan attack Hawaii? I thought they were allies with us.
Beck is 6 million. That seems a bit much.
I don't know.
They may have fudged the numbers.
I think you're counting over a little bit.
Okay, well, I also watched a documentary. Shocking for me.
I didn't know you're a dumbass.
I am a dumbass, but it's a 2025 film.
Oh, it's
So,
Where's the
Alan,
film?
why did you say that? You didn't fucking
I'm
watch.
so excited about it.
this isn't a dumb.
Ransacked Hamlet. It is
Yeah.
a documentary.
It is. I thought just a GTA Shakespeare.
No,
It's about how
it's about how they did it.
Oh,
So it's a documentary made by. Hold on, can I look up the people's names?
No,
Yeah.
it has to do with the same way I did.
No,
with
I
the
want to look because they're real people.
Yeah, but the Gorge is real people too.
really fucking hard.
So something that actually
Did
happened
you not hear about the nuke that went off in Europe?
My bad.
The Hollow Men.
in vague location in the northern hemisphere. That's in Europe.
My bad, guys.
Yeah, okay. Talking about this is there was also another film that I watched that kind of felt like this that I really liked, which is called We Met in Virtual Reality, where it was like filmed entirely in virtual reality, and I thought that was cool. And the funny thing is, I kind of want to rewatch it now because there were a bunch of random Ruby avatars just in it.
Oh hell yeah!
And like I can finally recognize these people.
Yeah.
Like you'll just randomly see Blake Belladon that's in the background.
True.
I think these types of movies are cool conceptually, but I feel like it's kind of hard to watch them, aren't they?
They are.
No.
I mean, the virtual reality
They
one
are.
was a bit.
They suck.
I mean, I want to rewatch it. I don't think I ever finished it. It was on Max. I'm probably gonna rewatch.
Okay. Anyways, Grand Theft Hamlet is these two guys, Sam and Mark. Oh, which one is Sam and which one's Mark?
Oh my god.
Aiden, get ready.
I am ready. Hold on. Okay. The main guy is Sam. He's the one mostly filming it until he brings his wife in, who's a filmmaker. So Sam and Mark are both actors in 2021 during COVID lockdown. And there's not a lot that they're doing, is the worst part. So they find a theater in in GTA 5. This entire thing is filmed within GTA 5 Online. It's a machinima like that. And they find a theater like, what if we just did Hamlet in GTA 5? Wouldn't that be so fun? And then they just start planning it and start doing it.
How do you do that in GTA 5?
Well,
They just like stand
You
there
have the characters online, like, moving around the environment.
and they just
Yeah, but do they have like costume or like?
Yeah, they put on.
yeah, they put on costumes.
Okay.
But it's basically like just them like trying to get people to do it, trying to get it all worked out. Like, so Sam brings his wife in, who's a filmmaker, so she starts like recording all of it, like from her point of view. And that's, I mean, I don't know, but it's
That should be like, okay, honey, I got it. This is my new job. I'm gonna do Hamlet and GTA 5.
yeah. So we do come back to her like getting mad at that.
I'm a professional filmmaker. You're making me film a Grand Theft Auto.
I know she's on board with it, like at the beginning, but they like go through the hardships of like actually trying to find people, and the fact that it's GTA, the game where like you kill people and blow up stuff. It's hard to do shit when people keep killing you and blowing
They
shit
maybe
up.
can make a private lobby.
I mean,
I don't think they did. Well, no, because
Sad.
people had to watch it.
no, they definitely.
Oh, like watching. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, if you
Like they
just
did.
shoot them.
I
Yeah.
thought that it was like they were just making it in GTA to watch in real life, not that people in GTA watch it in GTA.
Yeah, no, it's all in GTA.
That sounds stupid. I'm not gonna.
Well, okay, they were really fucking bored.
Then what's the point? What's the point of the recording woman then?
To record the documentary process.
Why?
They won. Hey,
money.
they won an award for this fucking movie.
Not
So-
an award for those.
So, but a lot of it is like trying to get cast like people to like do it, and they keep like trying and failing. There's this one lady who like sees their application online and like hops on her nephew's GTA to like audition for it, but then she goes like back to America or some shit, so they just can't do it anymore. Like they find the like person online, they're like, hey, are you gonna do the GTA or the Hamlet thing with us? And it's like, oh no, that was my aunt, she left, she's gone.
Oh,
got deported, man.
Yeah.
he doesn't have a computer that can run GTA.
No, but we do have like a set cast of characters.
So when are we gonna get Macbeth in GTA 6?
What are we getting?
Well, we already have a Macbeth RPG.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what else? What do we need?
But like they do have a like cast of people that they eventually come up with. One of them is the voice actress for Pharaoh Overwatch.
Really?
Yeah, she just shows up at one point. There's a trans woman part of that. They connect that. That's important actually.
Yeah.
And then there's just a bunch of random other fucking people who just like are also part of the cast. And they're just like setting it up, doing rehearsals. What
You hear like people audio through G?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're,
proximity.
they're all speaking to each
Okay.
other. Until like the person they have cast as Hamlet like has an actual IRL acting gig and has to like
Oh, a real thing.
a real thing. So he doesn't have time to actually like rehearse Hamlet anymore. So he has to.
Does he need to rehearse? Can't he just like read it off?
I feel like every
no.
actor should know Hamlet.
They are putting in the work, okay? But he leaves. He has to leave, and that's when Sam is like, "Man, I don't think we should do this. This is a lot of work, and I don't want to do this anymore." And Mark is like, "All right, bitch, you have a wife, you have kids." I'm alone. All of my family are dead. You think this is a fucking game, but this is my fucking livelihood. This is what's keeping me sane. And he's like,
We
"All
don't
right."
make Hamlet. I'm killing myself.
Pretty much. So all the while, Sam is like getting a soda from a vending machine in the game during this very important conversation. But they do their thing.
This one's hitting the gritty.
At one point, Sam's wife, who's filming it, is the documentarian, is like, "You've been ignoring me. You've been ignoring the kids for Hamlet in fucking Grand
Fuck
Theft
the
Auto?
kids. This is more
What the
important.
hell?"
This is my legacy.
That part felt forced. That part felt a little made up. But they rekindle. He goes upstairs and they hang out.
They were like, we need a third act or breakup scene.
No, the third act breakup scene is when they're like, "Man, maybe we can do this. What is Hamlet even about? what is life about?
I don't even know what Hamlet's about.
It's about everyone dying.
Yeah.
So they're like, what is life and what is death? What does it even mean? So they go around like GTA. They're like, what do you think it means to live? And it's like,
yeah, of course. Ask the GTA players.
until they go into like a bar in GTA and see like a python just like in the game, and they're like, wow. This python is, life. And then they're like, all right, guys, we're reinvigorated. Let's
And then
fucking
they
do
step
it.
outside and they get a Presser Mark II spammed for like 10 minutes.
And then they do
Right.
Hamlet. They don't show the Hamlet.
Then what's the point of the documentary?
Well, you can go watch it online.
Okay, guys, I think we need to do the Gorge in Minecraft next. All four of us.
Ironically,
I'm Miles
That'd be
Keller.
awesome. What are you, Miles?
You're on Taylor Jones.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm the Hollow Man. All of them.
I'm the Gorge.
You voice acts the Gorge. You just done all the screaming from it.
Oh. No, that would be me. I would be the Hollow
The
Man.
Hollow Men. Who said the Hollow Men were screaming?
Because they were fucking living beings. What? The bomb hurt the Hollow Men in the Gorge. That's why they were screaming.
Guys, so this is amazing dialogue.
So then
This is why we are podcasters.
So then they do the Hamlet in GTA 5. We got interrupted because Beck had to blow his nose. Anyway,
jack off.
they do Hamlet in GTA 5.
That's crazy. Moving on.
Moving
Okay, do you
on.
have chapstick, Beck Lion?
I'm not giving you chapstick.
Bro, my lips are so dry.
I gave you
My
the
lips
offer
are
of
so
chapstick
dry. I
when
need
we
it now.
got
I
here,
need it now.
and you decide to ask me right when we get back to recording.
now. I'm not kidding.
Nicola,
I
we
need it now.
we were recording for 5 seconds. You could try to have asked me like 15 seconds earlier.
Can we do it 15 seconds earlier?
Oh my god.
No, you have to
I need it, man. My lips are so dry.
tough it out.
This fucking
Just start
guy.
licking them.
I can't. It makes it worse.
No.
All right, so
Curry, do you want to talk about your 2025 movie?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
you don't even know where the chapstick. Oh,
Bring those over.
yeah. Bring over the dunker.
Bring those
Bring
over.
up the things that are going to make you more dry. Yeah.
Bring them over. Please.
Nicola, you are ruining the video for the audience.
No, it's for the Patreon. Bring me
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about one of the solos I did, which is Awara. Now, Uri, have you heard of Awara?
No.
Okay,
You?
No, well, I saw his post on Letterboxd, and he said it didn't need to be as long as it was.
it was 3 hours. It's
Like
a
a brutalist.
1952 Bollywood
What
film.
the fuck, Dad?
It has like 20 musical numbers. And it,
Like Joker 2.
yeah, and then it follows this dude from like conception to like him going to prison, and it goes so in detail. I'm like, okay, it's a good movie. It's not 3 hours good. So
Are you watching The Brutalist?
I mean, I had to watch it for media histories because we're doing like, I think we were doing like a Bollywood unit. So I watched it and I was like, okay, cool.
So is it like an epic?
It's not like an epic. Like there's not a lot of act. It's just like, so there's this guy. So there's this guy and he's the judge. He's like, if you're born from a bandit, you'll be a bandit. If you're born from a judge, you'll be good. And then his wife gets kidnapped by a bandit. And it's
Hey, you're
assumed that the bandit raped the woman. So now he
you're
thinks.
gorgeous.
So now he thinks the wife is pregnant with the bandit's baby. But turns out it's actually just his baby. So he casts his wife and his child out, and she gives birth in a raining gutter to like this baby. And then she has to live in like the slums. And the thief is like, I will get revenge. I will make sure this guy becomes a thief to prove this guy wrong, because his son will be a thief. And then he decides not to be a thief, and he kills the guy in trial, and then it comes out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you're born a bandit, you don't have to be a
No, you're
bandit.
speaking right now. You can't even speak.
Please, vibe.
But what if you're born in a gorge?
What if she said you're gorgeous?
Okay.
What if?
That was Awara.
I'll talk about my 2025 movie,
Wait,
Last Breath. So,
Oh, no.
what?
Terrible. I've seen the trailer for it. It looks stupid.
The trailers make it look better than it is.
Oh.
classic.
That's not helping.
So I wanted to go to the theaters, but I couldn't see Mickey 17 yet, so I decided, what's the only other thing that's out right now? Last
It
Breath.
pretty much is just that.
Nothing is out. Like, I want to go to the movies with my parents. I'm like, wait, what the fuck is out right now? I can't watch anything.
Yeah, because we've also all seen it. We've seen them all.
Last.
The pain of being a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, we had three sort of main characters in this movie. They sound in the beginning and the end of the movie, this is based on a true story.
Is it?
Yeah. And so essentially, it's like,
I mean, the Gorge also
it
is.
starts off with like our lead, but not really. He's like a Scottish guy. He's like with his girlfriend, and you just know something's bad's gonna happen to him because like she's like, I'm so worried for you. I don't want you to get because he's like a deep sea diver. Like he doesn't want anything bad to happen for him.
But it's the one with the stacked cast, but it's just about people diving underwater.
Yeah. And so, but the guy is like a lesser. I've seen the main guy like other things, but he's kind of a lesser known actor compared to the other two, Simu Liu and Wade Harrelson. And so he's like the third. And so, he's a very nice Scottish guy, like those three are gonna work together. And like Simu is like, he's more of like the reserve, like he's like, let's just make it back from he's very kind of cold, the colder guy, but he has like a hard goal inside. Of course. Obviously.
Of course.
Anyway, the movie's like actually like so small and simple. It's insanely how small this movie is.
How long is the runtime?
It's like 1:30.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It's a short movie.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
As short as a movie could be.
Nowadays, yeah.
And so they go, those three, it's like Woody Harrelson's last time doing this. Like he's like, this is my last time. After this, they're gonna kick me off. So it's obviously you got the last sort of classic old guy doing this last mission type of thing. And so they're going like deep sea diving, but then like the overall huge ship moves and like they get pulled away and like he gets like the guy gets like stuck and like he's like, I'm gonna lose you, but like Simu, because like Woody Harrelson's in like the main sort of telling him where to go, and like Simu is like I'm gonna lose you, but I will come back for you. So he goes up, and like this guy, he fucking gets stuck underwater. He gets his oxygen for the last 10 minutes. He runs out of oxygen, and he's underwater for 30 minutes without oxygen.
I could do that.
And that
Like 30 minutes movie time or like real time?
real life.
Like they say, he's been down there.
They
for
say in the end of the movie, he was underwater for 30 minutes.
the real person was?
Yes. And so I'll explain to you that it's very funny.
Okay, one second. I gotta look up what the world record breath hole is.
Cause they finally do eventually find him again. And he's fucking blue in the.
Okay, well, to be fair, the world record for breath holding is 24 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
Holy shit.
But that's like with the before drinking, having only 100% oxygen beforehand.
Also, this is an unconscious guy.
Oh, he's unconscious.
He's
I didn't hear that
unconscious.
part.
Well, because he ran out of oxygen.
Well, then he's clearly not breathing underwater. Then that solves the issue. If he's unconscious, he doesn't have to breathe.
Anyway, and so you assume cause you're seeing the clock go past 8 minutes, 20 minutes. You're just okay, so this guy's fucking dead, right?
Dead.
And you're like,
Wait, do you not follow Woody Harrelson when he's in there? You follow Simu Liu?
you kind of they just go back, and so for the most of the movie, he
There's just jump cut every couple minutes to just him just dead.
Yeah, it's
Just every couple
you
minutes.
follow the guys in above, who are trying to find him, and they're
Like a family cutaway gag.
and they're
Where the hell is this guy?
I thought this movie was about the three guys getting stuck in a thing together.
no, it's
It was
and
just them saving Woody Harrelson.
nobody Harrelson, the other guy.
Oh, the Scottish guy.
Yeah, it's the Scottish guy. Because then they're just for a lot of the movie, they're just waiting so they can because they were moved away with the bigger ship,
Yeah.
and the bigger ship guys were trying to find him, and when they find his unconscious body, he's just they're oh, he's spasming, his brain is fucking, and they're oh, shit. How can we save him? And then they're we gotta save him. And they're and Woody Harrelson's I've never lost a diver, and I won't lose a diver now.
Sounds like an amazing movie.
Sounds like
That was a really good Woody Harrelson line delivery.
And so he they finally do find him again, and they carry him up. And guys, when they take off his fucking helmet, he's fucking blue
Yeah.
in the face. But
But he lives.
he they're this guy is he's not responsive, and they're fuck.
So he's just a vegetable for the rest of the life?
Well, no, Nikola.
Oh, I see.
Because guess what? what he has.
Power
He has
of God.
It's like they do the Tetris sort of rewriting history thing, where the thing is because he had I think this was because he had like true love of a wife. That's what made him come back. I think that's what they imply in the movie.
Yeah, how did he actually survive?
I don't know. He comes back fully recovered, and then the end title thing are like, doctors don't know how he made a full recovery. He defies medical knowledge. He defies medical knowledge.
It's the power.
And then we see like a
Fucking
video.
Ruby, man.
We see a video of him.
Fucking Ruby.
This guy is enough.
We see a video at the end of the movie, of a real life video of him at his wedding with 2 other guys. And then they see the title thing. After this mission, he went back and they completed the mission.
Last breath.
They're like, they do a title like after the mission, he came back to complete the mission. Cause like, guys, if I was like unconscious, I would be done with this job.
Yeah. I mean, you can like, it's what I will say, like, based on a true story.
Based on.
Where?
You just
what?
lied to us. It was not based on a true story.
Based on Last Breath. It's a
It was based on another
It's
film.
based on a documentary.
Yeah.
So it's like a game of telephone, and that's why everything.
We'll just say, woo!
Okay, now we get to do the me and Aiden duos.
He was for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
But
what's happened to him.
It's true. Hey, he defies me. When you have true love,
It's the power of God.
you can undo
the
like
power of the
not
Gorge.
breathing for
That's
30
why
minutes.
we're all gonna die.
It's the Gorge, man.
Wait, Chris Lemons? Is it him?
Who the fuck is that?
This
Yeah.
guy.
He's like way uglier than the.
Oh, it says 38 minutes.
That's 40 minutes. Why didn't they say that?
Yeah.
Diaper Chris Lemons after being separated from his diving gear.
Where is he now?
Where is he now?
He's just dead.
Okay, great. So
No.
Chris Lemons is a real guy.
Okay, now time for the me and Aiden duos. We got 2. Why are you going on Disney Plus?
Because one of them's on Disney Plus.
Oh my god, bro needs the
You
recap?
need to do it from memory, man.
Oh, you do it from memory.
It's hard to do.
It's not!
Kind of hard.
I rewatched both of them yesterday.
Okay, I didn't.
Okay, so,
It's cheating.
first one, win or lose. Which one do you want to
I'll
do?
do the second one.
Okay,
Win
so,
or lose, which one?
we follow the kid named Ira. Now, Ira's not, this is the baseball team Pixar show. So Ira, he is the little brother of Taylor on the team. He's bored because baseball is a very boring sport. And he's bored and he has like this little like kaleidoscope that when he looks through,
Kaleidoscope?
he like imagines like stuff being like,
he imagines.
he imagines like everything's like fantastical. It's like the meteor is the baseball and everything's sci-fi.
Yeah.
So he gets bored and he's like, sister, can we play Smash Brothers? But then the sister falls in love with this guy named Ewan and we fucking hate
we
Ewan.
hate Ewan. He takes Taylor away from Ira.
And he's cringe.
He's a terrible cringe guy.
But then Ira, now not being able to hang out with his sister, hangs out with the Bleacher Creatures.
Yeah.
Which is like these 3 people, which is a guy in a chicken costume, a guy in a captain's hat, and then the Korean girl.
Yeah.
And they're like the evil kids because they steal from the snack shack.
Steal from the snack shack.
And then Ira
they
helps
get
them.
Teachers.
And then he feels, then they hang out and they're friends. Then he goes to the party. And we've seen this party like,
Twice.
yeah, twice before. So he's at the party, he's hanging out and he's like, my sister's cringe because he's dating Ewan. Then he looks at the food, he's like, return me to the snack shack. You're a thief. And then he's going like,
Why don't we just kill these people?
True.
and then he's like, okay, I need to go find my friends. So he walks into the garage where his friends are like, hey, do you guys want to play Smash Brothers?
Which we have seen before. We've seen this in Roxanne's episode.
And yeah.
So each episode about a different
sorry.
person?
Yeah. So then we see
you should watch it.
that the kid that gave the opportunity for Rochelle to escape
Watch it out.
was Ira. So
The one.
Rochelle runs away. The chicken guy chases after her. And then the Captain Hats guy's like, you fucked up our deal, he's gonna tell everyone, and then he's like, no, I didn't mean to, I feel bad. And he's like, fuck you, little kid, and then rips his kaleidoscope in half.
Kaleidoscope? Wait, say that again?
He does rip his kaleidoscope in half.
He doesn't rip it in half.
Yeah, he does.
He gives it back.
He with tape on it.
I didn't see that.
Oh my, this guy fucking did not watch
I watched it at 2 a.m.
this fucking guy.
Kaleidoscope, say that again?
So then he's mad. He was like, okay, I'm sad. I gotta go to the game. My sister's playing. So he goes home, and it turns out Taylor and Ewan have broken up.
No.
It's so sad.
No.
But then he gets there, he's at the game, he's like, I feel bad. I'm gonna write a note to the snack people and be like, I'm sorry. But as he's about to place the note in, we see the bleacher who just come back and be like, I'm sorry, Ira. Here, I taped up your kaleidoscope. Can we be friends again? And the episode ends.
Aww.
And now we cut to...
We go to Yuen's point of view. Whoa, remember that guy that made
the bad boyfriend.
that made the sister break up with him that we mentioned 20 seconds ago?
No.
We get his episode. He's a pitcher on the team. So we've gotten every 2 episode batches, we've got one player on the team and one associated person.
Yeah.
And he's our player on the team, and then Iwan was the associated person. So Yuan, he's pitching. He's aggressive. He's a bitch.
Arrogant.
He's arrogant. He's a bitch.
The red bitch.
He's like, I'm better than you because I throw the ball good.
Reminds me of somebody else I hate.
Okay.
Who throws balls?
I love them balls.
Bro just hates like a random pitcher.
So so remember the first episode, everyone? When Rochelle was with Lori, and he was like, you're making fun of Lori because you like her. And Lori's like, oh, and then he's like, no, I actually like Taylor. So we see his point of view. But we go into his heart, and in his heart there's a little boy. And there's a little boy.
It's a tiny little
pedophile.
There's a little boy in his heart. And he's gay? And he's like
gay pedophile.
He's like, no, I'm in love with.
What is that?
It's like he's arrogant on the outside, but he's like
gay on the inside.
he's just really.
Is that the opposite of
He has a girlfriend in this episode.
He's a gay pedophile?
He's just really emotional on the inside, but isn't that
He is dating a middle schooler.
He is also a middle schooler. You have to clarify.
He is also a middle
And
schooler.
they're the same age.
Back to straight up rage beta.
Let me fucking talk about this. Stop talking.
Okay.
So there's a little boy in his heart. Goes,
A little bit. So how old is the little boy? And like compared to like
Can I just show you a picture?
Like an elementary school
It has to be
kid compared to like a middle school.
Okay.
So he is a pedophile.
A younger him.
Pedophile.
It's
not a younger
Why
him.
is there a little kid in his heart?
It's
Why
like
is there an
it's like
elementary kid in his heart?
Because it's his emotion.
No, it's
Nicola.
there's no little boy.
Nicola. He's a grizzly bear on the outside, but he's a teddy bear on the inside.
Exactly.
But
yes.
There's no teddy bear in my heart.
Yeah, because you're just evil to the core.
I have no soul. So he asks Taylor out, and she says yes.
Why would you
Very
do that?
good.
She's stupid.
No, because she also likes him.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually like her.
He
likes
does
the other
actually.
girl.
No, he does actually like her.
No, the little boy said he liked the other girl.
No,
No.
no.
The little boy said he likes the little boys. I
No.
like little boys.
He's doing a great voice.
I'm doing a great job, by the way. So then they go on dates.
And they watch Fast and the Furious.
And they want what?
Why are there so many like pop references in this movie?
He does quote Gladiator in like the first one. Are you not into
He does quote.
Okay, but that's just like something everybody quotes.
Yeah, almost like he probably has never seen the movie. He's just like, that sounds like a
You only saw Gladiator 2.
Back. Do you have any chopstick?
no.
Why? My lips are chapped.
You said chopsticks?
You said chopsticks. I was like, what the fuck is chopsticks more?
Okay, next quote.
Okay, so they go on dates and they're very cute. And he opens up. He's like, "Look, this is me. And he
opens up like a little boy.
he
He opens up his heart and
he's
he shows that he has all
Is that a metaphor?
and then she opens her hand and she eats her little girl and she throws up everywhere. And then they build a home together. And
They're middle schoolers.
the little boy and the little girl build a heart home. And
Wait, they're inside each other?
yes.
Aiden, I feel like you're gonna be a kindergarten.
I think it's an analogy for sex.
This is not an analogy for sex.
I think you need to watch the
They're
episode.
inside
It's
each other.
It's the best episode.
Stop talking about sexual relations between middle schoolers. You have to stop.
Please. So then,
No, I'm just saying what they're saying.
So then Ewan is talking with his sister, who I've researched and found out that's supposed to be the trans girl that was cut.
Sister? Kai's his sister?
Yes?
Oh.
What? This guy is transphobic.
I think it's his brother.
That was a
They look very different.
guy learns what transitioning is?
Wow.
This guy sucks ass. Holy shit!
Okay. The way I saw it, isn't Kai black?
What is happening?
What does that have to do with it?
They're twins.
Oh, really?
This guy fucking is so stupid. Holy shit. This guy has no media literacy.
So what gender do they transition to?
I'm pretty sure female. I think they're identical.
So, female to male or male to female?
They are not identical twins. Their face shape is so
Female to male or
guy learns what
male or
transitioning
female to
is.
female?
Transition does not make your face turn from like a triangle to
No,
a
wait, Aiden, is something
Okay.
that's supposed to be, but they decide not to do
That was
it?
the one that was cut.
Okay.
I looked into it, yes.
Yeah.
But like the voice actress is a trans woman.
Yeah.
So, by logic of that, the other character is also a trans girl.
Yes.
That's my logic. Anyway, Kai is like, since you've been dating Taylor, you have opened up and you're a much nicer person now. And he's like, thank you. That's great to hear from you, Kai. I'm gonna go pitch with her. So then they train because she wants to be the pitcher next year.
the catcher.
But she wants to be the catcher, I mean.
Oh.
And so he's pitching and she catches it, but she falls over. And then they
It's like
kiss.
win or
And
lose.
then they kiss. And let me tell you.
So middle schoolers kissing?
Yuck!
Yeah.
Bjork! Let me tell you, this is the best scene in all of Pixar, maybe. When they kiss, here's what happens. We see,
The little boy,
we go
and the little girl.
no, we go to live action. We see BMX kickflip. We see landing on the moon. We see live action Obama.
This is
mic drop.
This is fucking.
Live action Obama mic drop in this Pixar.
This is fucking Family Guy.
Yes.
Cuts to live action Obama.
It cuts to live action
How is
Obama.
this the best Pixar moment?
Because it was really
It's
funny.
really funny.
Yeah, but how is it the best Pixar?
Because it randomly
But-
cut to live action
Well, that
Obama.
doesn't make it the best Pixar.
Okay, but it was really, really good. Because it was live
So
action.
now everything's really good.
Now everything's really good. And then they go to school. And guess what? This other guy, the tall guy, Mike, I think was his name.
Yeah.
He is talking with Taylor and Yuen is like, guy talking to Taylor. And his little boy is like, stop him. And so then he starts making fun of his socks. And he's like, you're a bitch boy. And Taylor's like, dude, his sister's dying or something. I don't really know
Big
what.
brother.
His something is happening. And it's very bad.
Dog was run over by a car.
I am his comfort person. Please let me do that. He's like, no, the tall guy's gonna steal my girlfriend.
Okay, I do want to share a fact that I noticed when I was looking at the promotional material. That's Taylor, and that's the tall guy that she was sending out. Notice how she's looking at him and not at Ewan. So obviously, Ewan.
Completely valid.
Look, I mean, looking at another guy.
So this is the guy that the episode is about. That's the guy. That's the girl he's dating, and this is the guy that he's getting mad at for them talking to each other.
And they're all middle school.
Okay,
Yes.
I also want to clarify.
Like, go up to the
Okay,
camera.
this is Kai and that's Ewan.
Guy does not know what mixed race couples are.
I'm just saying,
For your information.
But
they
this
look
got an
very
edit.
different.
You got an editor.
No.
Beck, do you know what animation is?
I do know what animation is. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
hard
she's never
for
made an
me to
animated
put
film.
together other twins when they look this different.
I
They
think
are
that might be
the
racist.
same age, and are related to each other.
Everyone's on the same team as the same age. I didn't know they were related to each other.
Why would they not be?
I thought they were just friends.
Okay. Regardless, they break up. Yeah. And it's sad. And his little boy goes, no!
I'm loving this little kid voice of it.
That's what it sounds like.
Did they slime him out?
They don't slam him.
We're pulling up this episode and we're watching it after the podcast.
Yeah, can we?
That's for the Patreon.
So then they're at the dugout when Lori goes up to bat.
And we saw them in the first episode.
Or not.
And Rochelle's not there.
Rochelle's not there, so they need a catcher. So, guess what?
The little boy plays.
No, not the little.
No, Taylor plays.
Taylor plays, but Luann is like, she throws up everywhere,
and he sucks at catching.
She sucks at catching.
And the boy's like, no, don't do it. No, don't make fun of her.
I don't remember how that.
And then he hits his. Oh no!
Oh right! They start fucking losing. We actually see that they are losing, and the bottom of the seventh. This is the most we see of the game in the show so far.
Yeah, no. So what happens is, Ewan is pitching, Taylor's catching. He just starts fucking throwing all these like balls, not using the pitch that she was recommending.
Exactly.
And they get pissed at each other, and then eventually Taylor looks away, saying to the coach, I can't do this. And then Ewan's pissed, throws the ball. It hits the catcher. And I think in the rule of baseball is if it hits the catcher and she doesn't catch it, the ball's in play. So.
Oh, and then they get three.
The ball's in play. Taylor pissed, walks off the field, leaves the game. The play keeps going. Ewan is holding the ball like a dumbass because she like erased his name from her arm.
Yeah.
And then they just get literally a home run.
They get like
so now they're behind.
Like 3 runs, and then they're like hella behind in the bottom of the seventh.
It's like 7-4.
Yeah. So win or lose, looks like they're losing right now. Only 2 innings to catch up. They have no catcher. Lori fucking sucks at baseball.
So they've lost 2 players at this.
Yeah, Luann is basically out of the game. They don't have a catcher. Period.
Yeah. So Rochelle's not there yet. Ewan's like psychologically died.
We do know that Rochelle shows back up though.
Yeah.
We know she shows back up near the end of the game. I think Lori is the final person. I think she's the final hit of the game.
Yeah, and then Taylor is just gone.
Yeah. But
it's really exciting that there's actually like this seems like a good Pixar.
It's great.
I want to say one of the best things they've made
in
like recent years.
In like
past
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like one of the better things they made.
I definitely like if you want to watch it at once we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched it with my mom recently, and I was like, I got so much more out of it like in a rewatch because you know all these characters and you pick up on all the little details.
Yeah, because there's lots of foreshadowing that you wouldn't otherwise understand.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is seeing scenes from 2 points of view. Like when Lori, or like when Rochelle is like, yeah, you love Lori. And he's like, no, I like Taylor. We see that from Lori's point of view. And then we see it from outside at Yuen's point of view.
Yeah.
Because in Yuen's episode, Lori actually says more. She's like, actually, if you want.
There's like a Dairy Queen. My mom owns a Dairy Queen if you want to.
Yeah. Like
Dairy Queen. Did somebody say Dairy?
Like there's more there's more that we see that, in different perspectives. And
then also like the way Ewan says it in both episodes, like Lori, he's just like, I don't like you. I like Taylor. Then when Ewan says like, I don't like you. I like Taylor.
Yeah, we see like he's like very emotional during it. Like it's great. I want to see the entire show like mapped out.
I might. If someone else doesn't make it, I'll make it myself.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so cool.
You'll make it?
Yeah.
But I do think Yuen's episode has been one of the better episodes so far.
Yeah.
Because you get like sort of a backstory of the guy who sucks.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was.
So they're always a really classic episode.
I thought it was going to be the sister at first, but I guess like we don't.
We see her now.
How many episodes we got left?
No, we don't have the sister. We have Kai and then Coach.
Kai is the sister.
Kai's not.
This is a 10 episode.
Bro, we've been over.
No,
this.
I mean like Taylor. Taylor.
Oh, you think an episode about Taylor? Yeah, no, we don't have an episode.
Yeah, we don't have it.
We have an episode about Kai and the coach, and then I assume the final game.
Yeah,
right?
so
unless the coach is the final game.
okay,
Which would
and then
probably
there's
be the final
definitely
game.
like
Makes sense.
gotta be There's
He's
gotta
an
be
alcoholic.
a ton of plot lines that you could
I
tell.
would be
Like
too if these were.
they could do one about the
country.
chicken. They could do one about
I
Taylor.
don't think they're gonna do ones.
No,
about-
I'm just saying like the proposed plot lines.
There's
that they
gonna be a
cut.
season 2.
I don't know if they
of
cut
half of the
anything.
characters.
No, I mean like
He starts beating.
I mean
the
we
children.
know like they cut storylines.
Do we?
Well, we know they cut the trans storyline at least.
Well, yeah, but it's.
I'm like saying like if they were to make it 10 episodes, we know like they could do one.
Oh,
about-
they could, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, but they
aren't.
didn't. Yeah, but I'm saying like if they could be, it's like very clear like who they would go for. Like they do a Taylor episode, they do one about the tall guy.
I feel like we're getting enough information about them, like just through others' perspectives.
Yeah.
I think that the point of them is that there is again still more going on because the whole thing is about perspective
Yeah.
in different situations, and I think that's very cool. But I think UN has been one of my favorite episodes so far. Again, I want everyone to we can watch it after the
Yeah.
we'll watch
I
it
think
after the pod,
Ewan?
and then you guys can decide whether or not you want to keep watching the show because you can kind of jump in.
Yeah, and then I really want to see more Lori in the final episode.
I think we will if it's about
Yeah.
the dad.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like this is pretty good picks.
it is.
In most recent years.
Yeah.
Is it better than Inside Out 2?
Yes.
Yeah, Inside Out 2
I think.
sucks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What was the other thing, you guys?
Pretty please. I
Are
don't
we
want to.
talking about this?
Yeah.
Please don't. Please.
Wow, bro does not want to talk
Yes,
about a thing that has
I
two
fucking
black
hate
women
them.
in them.
I hate them.
Okay,
What the fuck?
moving on. White Lotus.
They're children.
Yeah, I hate children. White Lotus.
So this is like a pretty good episode.
I didn't need to talk about it.
You guys, Nicola's crying. Look at his eyes.
He's crying because we talked about children.
I hate children. Yeah, sure.
This was a pretty interesting episode. Let's go by character group by character group.
We start off with the 3 women.
The 3 women. So they had kind of what's interesting about
That's the little boy in his heart. I'm telling you guys,
Yeah.
he's real. There's a
All right,
little,
bring it up to the camera.
You're gonna have to just
There's-
edit it. Just do editing.
No.
this is more organic.
It is more organic.
Okay, so in the White Lotus, we start with the 3. What's interesting about the White Lotus is that you have like some of the
Talk
Nicola.
about White Lotus, bro.
I'm talking about White Lotus.
So you got like the most like intense storylines for like some characters, but then you got the 3 women, and their thing is that they're just like, what do we do?
They're bored, so they want to go out. And the first place they go out to is an old people beach. So they're like,
'Cause-
we're not old. And then the second place they go to is the water festival. And they're like, we don't like getting wet.
Well, they would be,
Ew.
but they asked Valentine, they got one of the worker spa massagers there, and like they were like all 3 really crushing on him, but they want Lori to have sex with him.
Yeah.
But I have a
He's single.
yeah, because she's single.
Wait, Lori like from Win or Lose?
Yeah, so I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna bring that
Oh,
up. I thought we were done with the pedophile bullshit, guys.
Yeah.
But you got this thing where where the thing is, because in the beginning of the episode starts with Jacqueline, she's calling her husband, but her husband is not responding. And you definitely get this sense that like they're really like distant from each other. Like they're trying to make this thing work, but like she because she feels sort of abandoned by her boyfriend, she's going to do all these extra sort of things to go out, like to get her distracted off of her mind off of it. And so you got this thing where I think Valentine, he fucking hates those 3.
Probably.
Like, I think
I've been getting that impression too, that he's just trying to get them off his back.
yeah.
Trying to get them off.
Cause like he's sending them to the old hotel and he's like putting them through the water, like sort of parade, which honestly, if it was anybody other than those 3 women, it
They
would
probably would have enjoyed it.
it would have been a fun time. But those 3 women are so
I also like, they show up and they're like, what are they holding? Oh, water guns. It's the water festival where they have done. They're like, oh, really? And they pretend like they're not going to get wet when they walk to the crowd. They're just kind of stupid.
Wait, you get wet from water?
And so you get this really fun thing where it's all like they end up in sort of an interesting position where I think we're going to see the biggest, one of the bigger sort of, I think next episode is going to have a lot of tension between the 3. As like they're all going to try and vie for like the males, the Valentine's friends' attention sort of the thing. And we're going to see sort of a competition because we got this thing where he has 2 friends. So we got a sort of maybe one-on-one sort of
Yeah.
dynamic here. We're going to see how they kind of like really resentful. But I think you are right, Nicola. I think it's a very Mike White type of thing, White Lotus type of thing to be like, they're going to come out stronger by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a good...
They always like subverting expectations. And the thing that would most be expected would be for them to all just like kill each other.
Break
like,
apart.
Break up apart completely. So I think they're going to subvert it by actually coming out stronger.
Yeah. And so that storyline is going to see how that's going to continue. But I think of those three, I don't see the women being killed, any of them.
No, I don't think so. Unless they go completely out of left field and they're the shooters.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the guy who is always fucking struggling, Tim Ratliff. He is falling apart so far mentally.
He's just completely has become addicted to the wife's meds.
Yeah, and so we're getting this thing where it's all like, we're seeing, so the wife, he keeps stealing her lorazepam, which is like...
To the point where towards the end of the episode, he just takes the entire bottle and puts it in his pocket.
He takes it, so she thinks someone stole it, and so he taking her pills. We're gonna see this thing where like, he's becoming so high, but she's becoming numb without her drugs. So we're seeing how like, she's gonna freak out due to her loss of drugs. Yeah. He's freaking out because
she's going through withdrawal and he's just high.
You love withdrawal.
And so the thing is, it's like, cause so he like, I think a big theme of this season is the idea of identity and death. And like, we're seeing how like, honestly, the fact that he's continuing to go back to his phone is creating more problems for him, where honestly, if he never even probably picked up his phone in the first place, he probably would have escaped all these issues.
So true.
But he went back to his phone, and like, his lawyers are like, you are not escaping this. You're gonna have to go to jail. Maybe we plead for a few months. He's like, fuck. And then earlier in the episode, Guy Talk is all like, you think Guy Talk's gonna be fine, they realize to stop illegal robberies, they're gonna have a gun. So Guy Talk gets a gun, but he's so distracted by Mook, he leaves the gun, and Tim, he takes the gun. And you were so seeing that he's gonna take the gun. And so, presumably, even though I think this is also a red herring, you think he's gonna kill himself, but he's not. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I think it's a little easy.
It was in the promotional material. There's no way they're actually going to do it.
Yeah. And it's a little early now. I think they're going to definitely play with the idea. And so that's really tested because he is just like fucking, this guy is like never having a good day. Like he's seeing how everything is starting to fall apart. And he did this really interesting thing in this episode where, the mom is talking to Piper about, all these people on this boat, they're like con men and frauds. Like, aren't you glad you don't know anything about that? Well, we know that.
Glad your dad isn't one of that.
Yeah, the dad is such a
Boy Scout.
Yeah, he's such a Boy Scout, but he's actually a really big fraud. So we're seeing how he is fucking crumbling this season. And so we're seeing how on the opposite end, the mom, she's like always like having like not a good time. And she's losing herself without the drugs. Meanwhile,
little brother is getting dragged between the older brother and the sister.
Where essentially we finally find the reason that the sister, which was theorized, she wants to join the monks here. Yeah. And she wants the brother to support and telling the parents. But the brother is like, I think because he doesn't really want her to go.
He doesn't want to lose her.
Yeah, so he decides that he kind of goes with the brothers to go to the full moon fest. And that's something we're seeing next episode. Essentially, we're seeing how the brother, he's more going to his older brother's side this episode. Yeah. And so that's kind of interesting. It's all like, he's deciding to join that sort of life. And so I'm wondering, I think it's something they're playing with, the idea of like the younger brother has something he's hiding. But I think at the end of the day, it's just about the theme of identity and like how he doesn't fit in with his family. I don't know if they're ever going to go so far as to be him actually gay. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be gay. At this point, I feel like he's not actually.
Yeah.
He's just stuck in his life and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, because the idea of it is like he needs to decide between the two colleges, the two sides of the family, because he got to both colleges that the family went to. So I think it's about the idea of identity. He might go to a third college or something, outside his family's norms. But something something they might pull this season, Nikola, I think they're kind of priming the older brother, to be like this big douche. But I think at the end of the day, he will be a heart of gold, maybe at the end of the day. Like maybe
the golden boy.
Yeah, maybe just like.
Is he the same actor?
Yeah. Because maybe he's actually a good guy at the end of the day, but he's just like a bit of a douche.
He's just the golden boy.
And we're seeing how because with the father's company, we're seeing how that will fall out. Because maybe because I think when he does find out about his father's misgivings, he will lose his sense of identity and maybe realize he needs to become more of a good guy. I see something like that happening maybe. Yeah. And we're seeing Piper, she's kind of struggling with telling her parents, so that's something big. And then the big conspiracy. This whole show is our biggest conspiracy of the show is Greg / Gator. He's always been such a mysterious character. He is the only character other than, I guess, Belinda.
I think he's not going to make it out of this season.
No, I feel like
he's been in the last 2 seasons. There's no way he's going to come back for the 3rd season to survive.
I don't know.
Is he the only person to have done that?
Basically.
Well, I guess the black one, but
he wasn't in season 2. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
He can't. I refuse to believe he's going to be the one constant in every single season.
Why do you hate that guy?
Because this
He
is not
did
what the White
kill
Lotus
his
does.
wife.
And
He killed his wife.
he's funny,
He was
isn't
kind of
he?
the reason the stuff happened in season 1 as well.
And so we see like he's such a mysterious guy. He's the big conspiracy of the show.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think he can make it out of the season because like there's no way they're just gonna keep using him.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit easy if he just dies. I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna be the only one that dies.
Because you think it's multiple buys.
I think multiple people are gonna die. I think he's gonna be the one that instigates the shootout.
Yeah.
And he's taken down or he's arrested by the end of the season. But anyway, this is like his last season. He's not gonna be up. He's gonna be gone for after
That's
this
fair. I think Guy Talk might be the shooter. I think they're setting it up.
I think he is actually gonna that he's gonna prove himself. Actually,
Yeah. Because we're seeing a lot of his problems this season are about his own masculinity.
Yeah.
And like how he just feels like he's not enough. And Mook really wants him to be more of a man.
And that's why I feel like his plot point is gonna be in the final shootout. He's gonna be able to save a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And kind of prove himself.
And so then we see sort of Rick and Chelsea. And so last episode, it was like, we got sort of like more about his past and like, about his, like his father was murdered. And so now we fully realize this was heavily theorized, but Srilata's husband, he killed Rick's dad. And like, he wants to go to him so he can to do a Inigo Montoya thing, like, you killed my father type of thing, prepared to die. But like, he just wants to ask him if he killed his dad.
I think he's just planning on killing the guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually is just gonna.
But I don't think he's going to succeed at all.
Yeah, clearly.
And so we're seeing how like, he just wants him to do this. And so, but maybe he has because we still don't know what his job is, Rick. So is he still a mercenary, but this is like his own personal vendetta? Maybe.
Yeah.
And so
Or maybe even the final shootout is just him finally trying to kill him.
we'll
If
see.
that's what happens, yeah.
Cause like, but I think he has a high potential to maybe be a dead person. Rick, or one, at least maybe. And so he's saying also, Greg, he's seeing that Belinda is clocking him.
Yeah.
Because Belinda is now finding out that Greg was Tanya's husband and Tanya is dead now. So she looked it up. And so you'll see how that sort of plays out. And he's gonna do something to her. He's gonna try to get her off like his ass.
Get
and
her
like
off.
saying how that's gonna work, you know?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I think they're setting up to be a really interesting last 4 episodes. Everything's sort of really building up. I think like the next few episodes are going to be really intense, more character dynamics. We're seeing how the big sort of tensions of the show, they're going to explode over the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it's like Zion is coming, her son. I'm saying because he's the only one that we know really survives.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing how we're going to see how that plays out. Honestly, I think bet for who dies, I'm going to go with, I fear.
Everyone dies except for Zion. There's
No.
no survivors this season.
No, I feel like it might be Guy Talk. He has a potential to die.
Who knows? What if they subvert expectations and nobody dies this time?
That'd be crazy, but that kind of goes against.
Because
the premise.
usually in the beginning they show that people die. This season they just show the shootout. That's it.
Yeah, but we're gonna see how it sort of plays out. I think there's gonna have to be a death, but it's gonna be really interesting. But Chelsea's also like really Chelsea is also really worrying about Rick because he's like really hiding, but he finally told her, and so I think he's gonna decide he's not gonna go to meet the husband. Like he's gonna choose to just be with Chelsea and forget about his past.
Maybe.
I think that's something they might build up. But it's really interesting, and yeah. Let's talk about Invincible.
The Invincible War.
And
Is there anything else, or are we ending with this?
I think we can end this.
End on
Who the
this.
hell? This is all that's left.
I do think this is
This has been one of the best episodes of the
This is
show.
the best episode.
yeah.
These last 3 episodes.
Oh, I have something else.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll end with that.
So this was such, because for someone who knows the comics and what's this happening to,
I'm allowed. Okay, move. You're gonna no. You
Fine.
sit there.
It's fine.
Over
It's fine.
here,
It's fine.
Nikola.
No, I'm not moving. I refuse to move.
What?
This is not a hostile takeover.
Okay, I'll just move out of frame then.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
I want to move with.
Now you go there.
No, I'm just gonna sit over here.
Wow.
Talk about Invincible.
No, but now it's like it's an unbalanced composition, Aiden.
Well, really, what we should be having is like a table here, and we have 2 and 2, and we're actually talking to each other instead
Yeah.
of talking to a camera.
anyway,
Invincible.
in the Invincible War, like moving,
Feel a lot of this
back the composition's off.
Yeah. Okay.
The Invincible War.
I thought it was good.
These last like couple episodes have been pretty good. And so it's really exciting because knowing me and Nikola knows what happens in the comics.
Yeah.
So this episode was really hyped up. But like, Beck, I want your perspective because like the thing is, other than the teaser in last episode, I wonder because like I know this was coming, but doesn't it feel kind of random that there's just so many random put Invincibles in like this episode?
I mean,
Guys,
yeah.
I'm wrong. Kai is not related.
You fucking, I'm gonna fucking kill Aiden.
Hey, it's fine.
This guy was fucking gaslighting me
I
for 20 fucking minutes.
I love gaslighting.
And I'm gonna kill Aiden off screen. That's the reason he's not in the podcast anymore. He's fucking dead.
Save it for the Patreon.
This fucking guy.
If you have the maximum tier subscription, we will have a free execution live stream of a.
But Beck, you were still wrong though, because you didn't think she was a girl.
I did think she was a girl.
Can we just?
I literally did.
Can we talk about
You got me some chapstick.
Chapstick?
Yeah.
Okay, the
So
Invincible.
Beck, I was wondering because for someone who hasn't read the comic,
Yes.
and like, does it feel just kind of random out of place that there's just a bunch of Invincibles invading?
I guess, yeah, because it feels like it felt so random because it was like very clear Angstrom was so fucking dead, and then randomly he's back, guys, and they like it's like they tease him so instantly.
Feeling quite banker.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it was cool. I mean we saw like in the intro of season 2 like all the other random Invincibles, so it's cool for them to come back.
I think a lot about what the sort of variants represent is that about the idea of identity. Because we see
Even with you and identity. Take a shot every time he says identity as well.
but it is.
Podcast.
I mean, it is because like we see how like he goes through all these different like all these alternate marks because they go the bad way.
Yeah, and some kill for fun, some kill because Angstrom promised them something. And it's like weird because there's like so many different motivations, but they're all working together to like create this destruction.
And because we see how far if Mark does go back that path, we see an example of what he could become, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And so we see how like the biggest goal of Angstrom is to sort of associate destruction with Mark and Invincible. And so they do it just like in the comics. I think it was a really faithful adaptation to how it goes down in the comics.
Yeah.
The battles are really good. I would say the only thing that was kind of I liked it, but it felt like weird and out of place. Just the Billie Eilish song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Cecil being able to kill the Invincible.
Okay, but
I thought that was really
that was just Blackson Invincible, and they also did say he was that the good news was this Mark was a lot weaker than their Mark.
Because honestly, I think our Mark is probably stronger than most of the other
Yeah.
Invincibles. And because what's interesting, and I would say one thing I really wanted from the comics, like the way he says everybody, he did say it the way I wanted him to say. I want him to yell when he said everybody, calling everybody to Donald. Like I really want it because in the comics he yells he yells everybody to get everyone to come.
and they called in the boss baby.
They call in everyone, which is really cool. They got Brick voiced by Jonathan Banks.
Which I honestly I don't know why so many people thought Jonathan Banks was going to voice in Conquest. I think he fits Bricks so much better. That's why I was expecting him to voice Bricks.
Yeah. But anyway,
Is this like in the comic when they introduced a bunch of new superheroes that we see again later in later
Yeah.
seasons?
kind of.
Yeah.
But
Like
anyway,
we'll like get like more Brett and like more of these other random heroes that we see.
kind of.
Maybe.
But it's a really good episode. So it kind of like it shows that there's so many like things outmatched, and like Mark is just outmatched. Everyone's outmatched on the story because there's so many Invincibles. Because the thing is, they don't even defeat all the Invincibles.
Yeah.
They just end it early because
They get like 10 of 18, right?
there's like 8 left, but then they're like, this is boring. We don't want to do this.
And then I was also thinking like, if they can't even handle 18 Invincibles, how are they going to handle 50 Viltrumites?
Exactly. That's sort of the whole point.
Yeah.
And because we see how in the end of the episode, like, can they even handle one like really big Viltrumite? We'll see.
And they're also just still fucked because like everything's destroyed.
Yeah, and so we're going to see how like they keep getting on the hits, but Nicola, recap us the best highlights of the Invincible War. What's the biggest thing?
Can I not? Can you do it?
I got it.
Yeah, you do.
Because I have not read the comics. So, he and Eve go and fight one of the two of the Invincibles. One of them breaks Eve's ankle.
That's what was brutal. It's always leg injuries.
Because like I don't think we've ever seen Eve bleed before.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Oh, in the very first, like, remember when she was getting attacked by the Flaxons, and that's like why Mark got like angry the first time.
Yeah.
This Flaxon invasion.
Okay. Yeah.
You definitely see a point where Eve's injuries, when Eve is being injured, that creates Mark being angry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets angry. Oliver is like really trying to help. And then eventually, like, it's mostly just a lot of like destruction and then seeing all the Sea Souls contingency plans being executed. But then on day 3, all the Invincibles meet up and they're like, okay, now what did he want them to do? Just like kill Invincible?
Just destroy the idea of Invincible. Just create destruction with Invincible.
Yeah, but what do you want to do with the final 8? Because I know that was his plan for the whole thing, but he was like, now that we've all we move on to phase 2.
I think it was kill Invincible, probably.
Okay. But then they all betray him and be like, but then Income's like, haha, sucks to be you. I'm tracking you all in this alternate dimension. Haha.
And so we'll see how that storyline will play off later.
Yeah. And then Mark finds out, hello, Engstrom, you're there. So he fights Engstrom, and Engstrom now has like millions of these drones he's just throwing at Invincible from like alternate dimensions.
He's like, there's only one way I can beat him this time.
With drones.
I have to actually kill him.
Yeah. So he goes, and Oliver's like, kill him so he can't do anything like this again.
And honestly, Oliver is right, because there are some points where you just have to kill the bad guys. And we're going to see how this thing where Mark's holding back just does not...
And we're definitely going to see that payoff in the next episode. Yeah. He's going to go all out because this is someone he needs to kill. He knows he can kill. He knows is evil. So it's like very clear he can go all out and try to kill this person.
Yeah.
But then he's like trying to fight Engstrom, but Engstrom gets away, but loses his arm. And the surgeons are like, haha, we implanted...
The technicians
implanted all the technology, so now they can like control him.
Angstrom Levy is basically the William Afton of the Invincible verse because he never dies. He always comes back.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's also just like a pathetic guy.
Yeah, he's like spiteful. He's so spiteful,
and like none of this. At the end of the day, he's just like none of this will help him. Like, well, how does this serve him? Just all these Invincibles being dead. Or like Invincible being dead.
It's also always ironic how he's teaming up with some of the worst marks. Like
the only
literally,
mark.
He's teaming up with one of the marks that killed his son in front of him, or that executed like him and like a bunch of people. And all these are like some of the worst marks to beat like the one good mark.
Yeah. And it feels like he just has no sense of logic.
But then, like, we see after the battle, I really like how they brought back Powerplex.
Yeah, that was great. I did not realize
that was in the comics as well.
I don't remember that, but they brought him back so fast.
The one thing they did skip, though, was there was, like, before Conquest and before the Powerplex, there was a bit with the Sequids again, where they clear through some of the rebels and there's some Sequids and there's, like, a small part for that. But because they didn't do it, I think they're going to probably move that to, like, beginning of season 4, maybe.
Yeah, and we got this thing where it's like, he's continuing to be a fucking hater, Powerplex. So like, guys, he did this! And then
you can't keep getting away with it.
And like, I think they did a really cool thing where it's like, I thought maybe they changed up the thing where Mark will kill him. But you realize he's not holding back. He's just gonna get rid of all the power from Power Packs. Like, fuck you, dude. I'm not putting energy on you anymore.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention Rexplode dies.
Rexplode does die.
How does Rexplode die?
He Rexplodes himself.
He explodes himself.
And because I knew that was happening, but how did that feel watching that?
Rexploded.
Well, Nikola kept saying like, "Oh, he's doing so good, nothing can go wrong." So I'm like, "Yeah, he has to die."
Yeah, but it's honestly a pretty good.
Waiting to watch this episode.
It was a pretty good character arc.
Good character arc, yeah.
Because in the comics they don't do the thing where he has with Ray, so they changed it for the show.
And he has like this heroic self-sacrifice.
And like Ray drives up and sees that he's dead.
Just like Gambit, they both had to explode themselves before they could sleep with the woman they loved.
Yeah, it's really because it's like a pretty classic storyline from a guy who's douche goes to a hero who saves himself at the end of the day, and like he kills himself to get rid of only one mark.
Yeah. I do also really like, I do think they maybe do it too much, but they do, again, copy the fight choreography from the Omni-Man episode when he's fighting the Guardians.
Yeah.
Like, he slams Darkwing 2 the same way he slams Darkwing 1. So Darkwing dies.
I just love that ankle move. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, also because it is a very nice combo.
Mm.
I mean, it always just, it combos very well.
They love it as much as the villain might love impaling people with their hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The donut.
Yeah, so we lose him. Immortal gets his head cut off, but he just survives.
And he retires.
Retires. Yeah.
You forgot that Nightwing, it's not exactly that Nightwing died, he just trapped the mark in the shadow dimension.
But he's also stuck in the shadow dimension.
Yeah, but he lives there anyway.
Okay, yeah, but this mark is
Along with the other monsters, so.
Yeah. And so we're saying how that might come back to play, but
Yeah.
it was a really powerful episode in terms of like just battle and like character work and like just continuing the plot. Because I think it was the most plot heavy episode.
Yeah, and definitely in the end of like the battle with Ancient Leaving, you could see like the animation there was like season 1 level. Like they like really put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. And then we got the teaser for the final episode. So like, how did this teaser feel? Because you probably know nothing about this.
Good. Kept saying Conquest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Conquest. That must be like the name of like a plot line or like the name of the arc or something. Something like I said, I am Conquest. I'm like, oh.
It's a dude.
It's a dude.
Dude, man.
So, yeah. I did not expect it to happen this soon, where he has to fight someone again. But I think I'm really excited for how the episode turns out. It seems like a lot of stuff's gonna happen.
Apparently, it's very... Because usually they release teasers of the episodes beforehand, but this week they did not. They literally... The description of the teaser was we can't show anything without it being a spoiler, so this is just the ending of episode 7 again.
Yeah, and so it's really exciting. And because like it's going to be like an Omni-Man like end of season 1 battle, but with Conquest and Mark.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting.
I mean, the world's already destroyed. How could you destroy it more, you know?
Exactly.
It's
It's not like it can explode an entire planet.
But no, it's like they're really setting up the stakes for this to be like a really great adaptation for now. Because I feel like because if they weren't going to be able to do Invincible War correctly, I kind of lose faith in the show. But they did quite well, and we're going to see how like I say if they handle both this episode and next episode well, and like they did this episode well and they handled this episode well, I see how the show could be faithfully adapting the comics quite well. So very exciting, and I'm really loving the way this season turned out. Like it's far superior to season 2,
Yeah.
in every regard. And like, yeah, and I mean the animation, like it's like I would say this was significantly better than the rest of the season in this episode, but it's not. I mean, it's still pretty. I think it's pretty consistent. I think people are overhating it.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the people that are complaining about the animation are not real fans.
Yeah.
I know what you guys were saying, like, this is like, what do you consider to be the best episode of the show? I still personally liked episode 2 of this season more.
Really.
Yeah.
What was episode 2 of this season?
The Cecil one.
Oh, yeah.
I just like that one. I don't know. I just really like Cecil, and I thought it was like a really creative episode.
Oh, yeah. I tried to say this last week, but last week I was in one of my classes and I was talking to somebody who was watching Invincible. And they were talking about it, and they were like, I really don't like what they did in the new season. Why did they make Cecil a bad guy?
He was always.
He's not a bad guy.
And I was like,
Just because I'm a bad guy.
have you even read the comics? And he's like, no. And I'm like, then what the fuck are you complaining about?
Yeah. Well, that's Invincible. Aiden, Plankton.
Plankton time.
What the fuck do you have to say about Plankton?
What do you mean? It was a fucking movie.
Oh.
It was a movie from 2025, so legally I'm allowed to talk.
It leaked in 2024. We can't include it.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
kidding. No.
What the fuck are you talking about? So, you guys know who Plankton SpongeBob is, right?
No. Yeah.
You say no?
No.
Oh yeah, he wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah, you're such a...
No, I know.
Circle.
Okay, so this movie's about Plankton. Plankton's gonna steal the Krabby Patty's secret formula.
Wait, really?
Formula?
But guess what?
SpongeBob stop.
Aaron gets mad.
Aaron, is that the robot?
Yes, that's his computer.
I want you to make me a Krabby Pat.
It's his computer wife. But he neglects her, and she gets mad, and she takes out her empathy chip.
Oh.
And she becomes evil.
Is it SpongeBob in this movie?
SpongeBob's there, yeah. And Plankton go with SpongeBob, and Karen takes over Bikini Bottom. She splits into 3 heads. Is it sassy head, her nerdy head, and her angry head?
It's just Cerberus?
And then Plankton and SpongeBob go to find her old parts. SpongeBob goes psychiatrist mode. He's like, Plankton, let us figure out where is your memory.
Why is he Russian all of a
I
sudden?
don't know, but he see flashbacks of Plankton building Karen for the first time, and then them in college, and it's very cute. But Plankton, he bad guy. He have no empathy, so he's like, I don't care about Karen. I just want to take over the world. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. But then the gal pals save them from all dying. You guys know the gal pals.
Yeah.
What are they?
Sandy Cheeks. And that
There are 2 other characters.
that
in the
one
gal pals.
mermaid that's related to King Neptune.
She is only in the movie, the first movie, so it's
Okay.
not Mindy.
Okay.
It's the 2 other female characters in the show. Who are they?
I know this. I know this.
Mrs. Puff.
Oh shit.
What's the
Okay,
last
is it,
one?
wait, is it the daughter?
It is
all the-
Pearl.
Yeah.
Yes. The gal pal.
So it passes the Bechdel test.
It is a thing in the show. By the way, this is something they've introduced recently. The gal pals is Karen, Sandy, Pearl, and Mrs. Puff. So the gal pals, the rest of them come in to save Plankton and SpongeBob from dying. And they're like, we're not here because we want to save you, but we want to save Karen, who's our gal pal. So let's save Karen. And then they put the empathy chip in Plankton. And then he comes all lovey-dovey. And then they go to the Karen, and he's like, Karen, I'm sorry. I love you. And she's like, that's just the empathy chip talk. And he's like, no, it burnt out. This is me speaking from the heart. And it's like, aww. But then they stop the plan, and
Turns out the empathy chip wasn't burned.
it was actually burned.
Okay.
Because he takes it out of his brain.
It's like Futurama.
And then it's done.
So how's the animation doing? It's like the weird.
It's the 3D.
The 3D.
Okay.
Better than the Sandy movie. Still not the best.
Yeah.
Pretty not good movie. The writing of Plankton is good because Mr. Lawrence was the head writer on this movie, and he's the voice of Plankton. So like
He understands the kid.
he understands the character. It's like Plankton and Karen, very well done. But just like, do you know how many episodes there are of Plankton's fucking backstory? Like, you know how Plankton says, and I went to college. We see his college. Like, I don't fucking care about his dumbass catchphrase that he says. But like, it's fine. Like, 3rd best SpongeBob movie? I don't know.
How many SpongeBob movies
There
are
are 5. There's the original one. There's Sponge Out of Water. There is the one that I didn't see. There is...
That's like the original one, right?
Yes. And then there's the Sandy movie, and then there is the Plankton movie.
Okay, do you think there's going to keep doing
Yeah.
spin-off movies?
I think that's... Well, I know,
We need like Mr. Krabs.
we know there's going to be another one about SpongeBob next as the next one.
I feel like there's just setting up one for Mr. Krabs.
I don't know if they'll do crabs. I don't...
Patrick.
Patrick has
Squidward.
a show.
Does he?
Patrick has a show, yeah.
What about Mr. Squidward?
Squidward, I feel like they do a Squidward movie before anyone else.
What
And I would
about-
like to see a Squidward.
What about that one fish?
Which one?
Like that one.
Which one?
The one.
That one.
You know the one.
Bread?
No, you know the one.
I don't know.
Okay, that's the episode. Always use Celsius. We'll see you next
Bye-bye.
week.
Or
Keep it
not.
for the Patreon.
We're gonna watch Win or Lose now.
I
Yeah.
recommend.
The Gorge. 'cause
The Gorge!
The Gorge.